humanoid, but it has no face. Its mouth is on its stomach. We
And
found
then
out
we
it's
encountered what it was.
yes, we encountered one, but we at the statue at the time, we found out it was a tomb tapper. They sense magic, and they go after magic items. So we
Oh.
encountered it later. Um,
The one that they encountered later also happened to essentially seem to be pretty honed in on Mace and Leif after they had walked by it. You know,
Mhm.
kind of go figure why.
we went to one of the towers. We picked up 2 books. Mace picked up a potion. The potion is yet to be identified. We can't just taste it to find out what it is. We
Why not?
joined as more
To
magical
just
than that.
yeah, literally to open the curtain, it says in the book that they can't do that. So
Oh, really?
it actually called
Yeah.
it out. Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I guess. I don't know how you're supposed to, I guess, identify like with a spell, but good luck.
Yep, we'll just drink it at some point. And we'll see what
Exactly.
happens.
Good luck.
We went into an arena where there's a glittering object in the center.
Like gladiator kind of arena?
Yeah, there's pitchfork masses in the center, and then a woman appears and starts telling us we're basically playing dodgeball with chain lightning. And we were lucky enough to dodge enough times to get through to us understanding that we were actually playing dodgeball with chain lightning, and we won. We got a trophy. It was made out of mithril. I think Mace has that now. We then went to a blue tower. Kara flew up to the window, took some arrows to the face. When she looked in, there was an anvil and mace in this tower after we killed the 6 people that were in there. We found it. I don't know. It would be labeled blue tower or tower blue, however I worded it. So from there, we figured out that the mace and anvil actually destroy magical items,
Mhm.
and we took. I don't remember her name. We had a mask for
Oh, the
for
mask
the
of
sister.
the. No, we didn't have the sister. We had the strangling fucker whose name I can't remember.
Strangling fucker.
The Hex of the Shattered Frame.
That's the
Shattered
one.
Frame.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, the second I got rid of his soul, I stopped caring about him.
Yeah. So we looked on the ceiling, and we saw what we believe is the part of the I guess key to get into the center tower. It told us it was the first message, and it said "Shield thy heart with a wand from the Nether Oak." So that's important.
What was the message in the purple tower, or did we not actually get that by the end of? No, we did.
We got it.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got 3 messages so far. First, shield thy heart with a wand from the Nether Oak.
Yep.
8th, stand firm in the circle of death and consume poison. And 6th, hide thyself behind a mask. But it was originally like look up to the sky or some shit.
It was originally show thy face to the sky.
Yeah.
So that would have hurt. There was a mini sky coach in a bottle. We took that. There's a Charlatan wand. We took that. When you hold the
Leif
wand,
just
it
said
tells
fuck you to all of his nightmares and came up a staircase bloody and ragged.
Yeah. That's when after that tower we ran into the tomb tapper. It turns the stone after you kill it. Then we went to the Taj Mahal.
You were assaulted by a bird on the way out.
In the Taj
Like
Mahal.
a normal bird?
No, the Auril's rock. So like a giant bird
Oh,
that is meant to carry. That is meant to carry, giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was after the Taj Mahal. Yeah. So there was in the Taj Mahal on the second floor, there was a 30-foot long tooth-filled maw with 4 arms and a tail. Basically, there was a sign that said "Don't touch." So we were all pretty
I didn't go
scared to
upstairs
go near it.
because
Um,
we pointed out that like every warning that we've come across in this place has been quite literal.
yep. There's
So
there's
There
an,
is no questions behind it. It is if it says don't touch, don't fucking touch it.
yeah, that creature apparently has a stinger that injects eggs into the host, and that's how it reproduces. So
Oh,
It-
after
it-
knowing
it's
that,
nasty.
it's literally the xenomorph from Alien. That's just what I
Yeah.
compare it to.
Yeah. So then we saw basically all the leaders, the Ebon Star leader, and the apprentices, which are basically every different form or every different school of magic. So we have all the different schools of magic with the names of the mage, and I started to associate them to the colors of the towers that we have, in case that matters. Then we went to the orange tower. We tried to use pass without a trace. Didn't really work. That's when the rock Soros got into a fight with it. We almost killed it. In the orange tower, we got stand firm in the circle of death and consume poison.
Do you remember what the orange tower's magic was?
The orange tower? Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I had it written down. Hang on.
Oh,
The
we lost
orange-
Sarah. Oh no.
That was the
Well-
transmutation.
Oh, she's
By
back.
the way, Rick,
Hello, Kim. Yes.
when you
Uh,
said world devourer, I was like, hey, I will devour your world. Hey, yo!
Hey, thanks, man.
Got
Anytime. Please don't eat
Please do.
I last heard about the World Devourer part, and then my phone attached to my car, and I couldn't hear anything.
me.
Oh, World Devourer. Okay, so then the next room was all the, it was a room with all of the mages from the city and the Ebon Star leader, and all the mages are associated to a school of magic. So each one is like a super mage for that school of magic. Which corresponds with each tower. So we already had gone to blue at this point.
So, like
Um,
gym leaders.
Yes, gym leaders.
Might
We
as
have to
well
go
be.
and get the badges from all of them.
Effectively, gym leaders.
You're a little too right for me to be happy right now. You just took all the mystique of like, oh, these grand wizards hiding the secrets you need to find. Bam! Pokemon battle.
Yeah, but Pokemon battle.
Kara, use rock
cue the
smash,
Pokemon fight
break
music.
The tower.
Oh god.
Yeah, this is a rock type.
Well,
gym.
and you know the
I mean,
funny
rock
part
type
is
tower.
it's kind of true because every time you guys have gone to climb those towers, you've had to use your individual Pokemon moves, i.e., spells and abilities, to overcome the certain trials. You had a true battle in Tower Blue, and then the
Oh, yeah,
second
all of
one. The second one was which?
You had to use
Second
Tower
one was Tower
Orange.
Orange.
You guys had
you had to
to.
That
use
was
psychic.
easy.
You had to use psychic to get in the building,
Yeah.
and no one had clear fog to get up the third one.
Well,
Oh,
the third one
the second
was
tower was also the one that had the statue.
the Stone Lady statue.
Yeah. Which. So there's this lady in the top of the tower that was made out of mithril, I think, or adamantine. I'm gonna look.
Yeah. I don't think it was
Adamantine. Yeah, so it's an adamantine statue that looks
I
like
think
a
that-
mage
hang on, I think
in
I
the
have
middle
the
of casting a
notes for
spell.
that.
And they got up there and they looked at it, and Mace went, "I want to smith that down."
That statue is currently on the ground level of that tower because Mace had me bring it down to
It's in
potentially
your-
smelt it.
It's in your bag, I thought. The last thing that you guys mentioned it in one of the episodes was Kara was placing it in her bag of holding because the opening was large enough. But we had to.
Right.
We basically discussed like, if you think about it, your bag grew, but the charm inside is a magical charm that specifies like the size inside it, right? So the charm can't grow. So you're able to fit bigger things in your bag, but your inner space is still the same size as most bags of holding, right? So you just have
Yeah,
it kind of
well-
standing shoulders and head out of your bag of holding at your hip. You
I'm
know.
potentially
It's just
carrying
peeking
around a
out.
couple
Yeah, that's exactly.
1,000-year-old person. I still
Um,
think we should have
I do
Leif try to
believe. Yeah.
telekinetically speak with it,
So
but
I do believe that was another thing you guys found out since he's not here. Is Leif's sword did kind of tell him like, you know, if I was asked, I could probably do something to uncover what's going on here.
right, his
So he
sword
had
has the
a
fucking wish
conversation.
spell.
He had a bit of a conversation with her and realized, okay, probably not the best way to utilize you, but good to know. And yeah, and then the party did recommend like, well, maybe if it is a person, you could telepath it with it, and he was like, okay, maybe we'll try that later, but that has not been done yet. So
It hasn't been done yet. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So out of the Taj Mahal, we tried to do pass without a trace to the Orange Tower. Didn't work. That's when we fought the Rock.
Yo, Fred, I just realized, like completely abstract, the person, if there is a person in that statue, you could use them as your soul transplant.
maybe depends on how you do it, right?
You mean take her soul out of the statue and put
Yeah.
it into my grass? Yeah, I had made mention of that, but I wasn't sure. Like we're not sure as to what it actually is.
And I will remind you, there's also kind of a question in the air because it was discussed of whether or not like she is actually a person trapped within an adamantine statue, or is it a adamantine statue currently that just has some weird nature about it.
Right.
Like,
So
yeah, that could be sentient or something like that.
right, is it sentient? Is I think the true crux of the nature that you'd have to
Well, I mean,
figure
it
out.
didn't yell at me when I put it in the bag, so it's clearly not talking.
Not in any way you understand yet. Yeah, at a minimum.
But I don't realize that in the background it's just literally been just going the entire time.
Yeah, please stop. Please stop. Put me back. Put me back. I'm gonna die if you bring me too far away from my tower. Yeah, so we got our thing on the wall there that said basically we got to consume poison. We fought the rock. The rock
Oh,
flew
but you
away
skipped over
before
how
we could
you
kill
found
it.
that out. That was like a big Pluzak moment. What do you mean?
So the wall had an inscription on it for the writing. It said, "Stand firm in the circle of death and consume." And then there was a chunk of the wall that was taken out.
Mm-hmm.
I've carried around the spell mending now ever since I've had Pluzak, and actually got to use it here to tell me to repair the wall, to tell me what the last word was, and apparently it's poison, but I'm just sounds strange that I would consume
Oh
poison
God!
in the circle of death. So
I just love the fact that it was literally like the party was like, none of us have mending, so it's not like this is gonna be something. And Pluzak just goes, well, actually.
I'm like,
I
I
have
do, but
mending.
it doesn't like the mending spell
It
doesn't
doesn't specify it,
like
I know.
it does this, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't even say anything.
Well, that was another one of those ones where I felt like I had to hint at, you know, the fact that was possible, specifically because the book calls it out. But I'm with you, where it's like, there's really no reason that a player looking at mending would think that. Like,
Right.
maybe, you know, someone thinking outside the box, sure, but it felt like not enough of a connection. And I'm kind of with you. It's a bit of a weird one.
Mending is such a rough spell because it seems so useful, but at the same time, it's like you never really know, is it really worth using, like depending on the situation and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
It also,
Yeah.
I think, depends on if your DM is like aware of ways to make it useful. Like if you have non-magical armor in your party and someone takes like a
Yeah.
crit, maybe it's like, oh yeah, you take the damage and you realize that your chest piece has got a big gape in it now, and it's -1 AC until you fix it. And then the guy walks up like, haha, you know, like other mechanics that you
I
can
shall
make later.
repair you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For future campaigns.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to do it too. The so we fought the rock. The rock flew away on its last leg, on its last wing. It yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you
pretty
guys
close to
fucked it up.
dying.
Kara, I think, hit it for close to
Like 2 or
150
3 crits.
HP total within the first 2
Yeah.
rounds due to crits. Yeah. I mean, the thing is
Um,
not the health of a dragon, but it still took a good chunk. So
I mean, it damn near killed me in the process, but I got in.
you made it run
lucky
away.
hit.
Let's be fair. It did run away from you guys
Yeah.
in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris didn't want to go to the shoe. Everybody else wanted to go to the shoe. We went to the shoe, and
Did you immediately
ultimately-
regret going to the shoe?
Yes, ultimately we all lost 30 damage for going to the shoe.
The things players remember. My gosh.
But
I was right. I was saying I was right.
but we did experience the Netherese
Dark
Ye-
Orchestra or something like Dark Star
something-
Orchestra.
orchestra. You know, it's like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, right? Except the Netherese version.
Except necromantic magic.
So
Yeah.
you listen to some curse music and just like you listen to a
No,
really
no,
bad performance.
It was
So
the-
critical
No,
things.
we
It was the
had to perform it.
Netherese Esoteric Orchestra.
Yes, esoteric
yes.
orchestra.
Yes, they had to perform.
So I rose the conductor because the conductor and the band were all like skeletons. So I raised the conductor and had the conductor play the
His song,
music
yeah.
to the band,
Which
right?
was pretty
And so-
genius.
yeah, I had to do skill checks for him, and only one of them I didn't pass.
Yep.
And that's the reason why
Oh.
we took 30 damage from it.
Mhm.
But basically, all the souls got passed on to the afterlife after playing their final ballad.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes,
Aw.
absolutely. So, and I would say
So was it worth it though?
I mean, it was a cool experience. I think, like Chris said, we should have skipped it.
Are you
I mean, he
sure?
didn't know what it was, right? But he
Because
would have skipped it.
If my memory serves, between that and the next building, which I'll let you get into, there is kind of a level by which Pluzak has a standing army. He just needs to activate it.
Yeah.
Look!
we're
The
also-
big the big footstool was a treasure trove of reusable corpses.
Yeah.
I mean, technically both are, is what I'm saying. Because now that you've settled those spirits, all it's there is bodies, right? So.
Right. So we go next to the Bigfoot stool that says we got bodies,
Yeah.
and nobody wanted to go
I
up.
love
Like
the way that they've done the map.
each of the legs on the stool is like an elevator up to
I couldn't
the,
fit, to be
the
fair.
top.
Mhm.
Well, that's true. You could just punch a hole in the top.
You
It's
could
not like
just
any of
enlarge
these
reducing
buildings.
again.
Waste 2 spell slots to get me up and get me down.
You got 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. So I go up there by myself. There's all these mummies floating in the air, with their legs crossed. You know, like meditating, in
Yeah.
the middle of the air. They're definitely not alive. They're 30 feet up. And stuff happened up there that Chris doesn't know about, but there's a bunch of bodies that are there.
What a way
Yes,
to
if you
describe that.
watch- I
Yeah,
guess
so
if you watch
more
the
bodies.
session, yeah,
No,
if
it was
you
more
watch the
specifically
session, you'll
that
know.
I don't know up there, because that means there's
Yes.
something I would have questioned.
Not necessarily
Um,
questioned, but there is definitely something that happened up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want me to tell you, Chris, or if you want to.
No, you're good. Just have fun with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that?
So after
Did you finish
that,
editing that episode,
Yes,
Rick? Or
I got
no?
it up last night.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's
that
done.
is the one from last night.
It
Okay.
should be, yeah.
So then I came back down and I was like, "Yeah, Valine, you should go up there and check it out." And she was like, "No, I'm good." So the rest of the party was like,
It's much more suspicious when you recognize that she's having the person who's literally claimed her soul if she dies tell her this, so.
the rest of the party was like, "All right, we'll just move on." So we moved on to the Purple Tower, where we saw statues that the eyes seemed to follow us, and there was a mist on the stairs. We sent, as we have done in all of these towers, we've sent Leif's Echo in first to kind of like spring any traps or to figure out maybe what he might see. And his guy kept dying on the stairs. Every time he get to the stairs, he kept dying, which means he's taking damage, right?
Mhm.
So we get to the stairs, and I get all the way to the top. Nothing wrong with me. Leif gets there with 1 HP, and I think
Leif.
Mace
Mace also
Mace-
took damage, yeah.
Are
like
you serious?
took
I'm pretty
40
sure.
damage or something like
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it
like
was
massive damage.
they had three checks along the way. Pluzak passed all three, no problem. Leif failed 2 of them, and Mace failed 1 of them. So, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was a pretty massive spell. I think I did tell the party after because
Yeah.
they figured out once they went up a way to come down without having to worry about that. So I did tell them what it was. It was I'm trying to jump over to it right now.
The way to do it was, Kara, break the window and throw everyone in.
Killer?
Yes, it was Phantasmal Killer,
Phantasmal Killer.
specifically cast at
At
8th
eighth
level. So that's a
Yeah.
4th
Oh.
level spell boosted to 8th level, where if you fail the save, you are frightened, and you basically are having your mind tricked to see like the manifestation of your deepest fear, and are taking, in that instance, it was 8d10 psychic damage per failure as they continue to
D10. Yeah,
yeah,
that's wild.
continue to run up the stairs. Yeah. And Leif actually
So-
technically died, but he used his class ability where once a day he can
Yeah.
keep himself alive with 1 HP to just like book it up the last couple stairs. So.
It was hilarious.
Uh-oh.
The best
Definitely a
part is if
scary
you
moment.
like turn around and go down the stairs, you're still taking all the same damage.
You have
if
to do
you
the rolls
don't
again. Yeah, it's the
save.
same.
So you may as well keep going.
Hey, Valine!
Um,
It's safe! Come on up!
So then we got up into this room and it was empty, except there was a message on the wall. We didn't know how to read it, but the message said, "Show thy face to the sky." Being in this room, we thought it was weird that it was empty because none of the other towers, or at least I thought it was weird because none of the other towers were like empty. They at least had stuff in the room. So I cast Dispel Magic, and we found out that there was stuff in the room and that there was, I guess, like hallucinatory terrain or something cast in this room. And this is the Illusion Tower. I think I wrote that down. Orange.
That was a purple, I believe. Was
purple.
illusion,
Yeah, purple is Illusion Tower. So yeah, so then the writing on the wall actually changed to "Hide thyself behind a mask." So that's how we got that.
Oh.
And that's probably important. So now we're caught up. We're taking a short rest at high noon.
Yep. Tower purple, short resting up high because Kara broke her way in and is basically elevator-ing people up and down as is needed. And you will be coming in at about noon on day 79 of your adventure through the Icewind Dale. And basically, I would just say, as you come back in, you know, there's just this degree to which there's an unease settling over you, and I actually need Valine specifically to do something.
Alright, so Fred, how do we fuck with them?
Yeah, really.
I think.
Oh, have you heard
in-
nothing from Blake?
I haven't yet, which is a bit weird, but I messaged him just pop in if he's able.
In about an hour, we just post in the chat that have new characters prepared for next session.
Yeah, Traps got a little too serious without you guys. Yeah.
Like Kara's fine, but we have to prepare new characters for next session.
Yeah, we actually now have to go on an adventure to find Kara in that city so that we can res her, and then we can see what happens from there.
So,
Adventure starts over.
the new map is in Valhalla. Kara said this is the only place she can put us safely.
Oh, no. I'm
and-
thinking what we tell them is if you guys can manage to get through the adventure again and help Kara, she
The
can recover
whole adventure.
your old bodies as spirits, and you can potentially have them fight beside you. But you have to get all the way there and save everybody. And you guys don't know how the party died, so maybe that's a collection. You know, Pluzak's in like 70 pieces. That's going to be tough.
But Suzak is going to play Ravnus now.
You got to
and
collect each and every
continue-
mushroom. Yeah. Pluzak is ravenous, so at least you've got a leg up. You've got a character that's a little more leveled. Everyone else goes to level 1.
Oh.
It's okay. You can power level. Ravenous is like, guys, it's okay. Ice giants, frost giants, they're this way. Come on, it's alright.
We just
have
grind a
to
little in
find-
this
I
area.
know this
You'll be
guy
level
called
8
the
in no
Hex,
time.
okay? We just gotta kill him. You're instant level 15. It'll be fine.
I'll do all the work. You stand behind.
Dragon Kai, help me out, please. I need a face
So
tank on this
what
one.
was what was that back there?
Oh, no.
That was Sonic the Hedgehog from the Sega franchise Sonic.
Oh, no. Okay. I needed to go here quick, the memento, and yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
So if it's
Okay.
if it's just gonna be like Chris and I,
Mhm.
I would like to do like one tower and like that's it. I don't
Yeah,
want to do.
I'm not going to do a very long night. We're going to
Okay.
basically have you guys go out to Sad Tower, I think, and then figure out, or sorry, yeah, Tower Sad, you called it.
Yeah.
Figure that out, and
Roger.
then because I don't want to necessarily stall us too much, make some progress,
Yep.
and then once we get what feels comfortable, we'll call it and scare the boys and figure it out from there. But for now, I would tell you as we progress. So, you guys are doing a short rest, and kind of as it nears noon, as you're all gearing up to keep moving out, you would just kind of notice, and let me switch us back actually. You guys are here, I believe. Hopefully I didn't get that wrong. Yes, good. You would all just kind of notice, Valine in particular is kind of eyeing you all. She's preparing her bag and kind of stuffing things a little bit more deep than usual, and she seems to take and like tuck Professor Scant into his little pouch at her pocket and like double tap it, with her hand, make sure it's there, while just kind of watching you all with a little bit more wariness in her eyes than you've kind of expected from her or seen from her up until now. But otherwise, the day kind of progresses as normal, and Kara, I presume you are just going to ferry everyone down one at a time.
Yup.
Something I do want to mention is I'm going to do my short rest cooking. So anybody that used a die to regen hit points can gain an extra 1d8 if they're not at max.
Okay.
Cool.
So
I'll
I will
take
double
that.
check my thing here.
So
I'm still under the effect of that pill,
You
so that's
were-
an automatic +8 to me.
Yes, you would max the die. That is correct. Yeah.
and Pluzak fashion, we Get a
Don't
one.
quite get as much as you would like. Let me see. Let me open Mace quick. Let me open Leaf quick. Okay, and okay. So it looks like Mace does not need the effects, but Leaf can certainly partake. So let's get a D8 from you. So he'll take an extra 4. Awesome. And let me actually reopen this. That was dumb of me to close it. Okay, so Mace, Feline, Leaf right there. Zophia's losing her mind. Nothing new. Okay. Yeah, so you all gain a little bit of little bit of extra HP. Couldn't talk for a second there. Thanks to Pluzak. Anything else any of you want to do that would have happened, during the short rest? I think Pluzak, even during that short rest, right, you tried to identify the wand that you have,
Yeah.
and did find that it's just a focus that makes you want to kill people. So that was cool. Anyone else have anything they wanted to identify or anything that we might have missed?
I'm trying to go through my items just to make sure there isn't. I think the only thing I'd be checking is that statue just to see if there's anything I can actually
Yeah,
do
I didn't
with
want
it.
to bring it up myself, but I figured if either of you said something, I was going to. So that's fine. So we will have Leif kind of do the telepathy slug to see if he can kind of get anything from the statue. Let me see if he needs to do a roll for that. I don't think he does, but I'm just going to look at the item real quick and see. Leif. Inventory. Slug of telepathy. Okay. Yeah, no, so he should be fine. He tries to send a telepathic message to the statue, but nothing really comes back. He doesn't really feel like he can connect much. In all honesty, he would, I guess, tell you, I don't know. Seems dumb as a rock. Heh.
Okay. I guess back in the bag it goes for the most part, and whenever we get to a point where I guess Mace wants to melt it down,
Yeah.
we have a statue to melt.
Absolutely. If you guys
Because
find a way.
if I feel like if there was a soul, we would have found out by now.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
mean,
think
maybe it can't talk
it's a question.
I mean,
mentally.
no. The other part of it
Maybe
is
it's
it's
asleep.
the other part of it is it was a transmutation tower, and if I remember correctly, transmutation at high levels literally turns one object into another object. If the spell was to turn them into a statue, they are in fact a statue. They're not a person anymore,
Yeah, I
so
think
they wouldn't be able to talk.
is that something Kara is actually saying to Pluzak, you feel, or is this just player to player?
That's more player to player because I don't
That's
think
fine.
Kara has massive knowledge of transmutation. That was
Sure.
just me talking out loud.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was just wondering where you were coming from on it, just to see. Yeah.
Mentally, Pluzak is thinking, if I could mend a stone some way, could I absorb its thoughts? That's what Pluzak's thinking to himself.
Men specifically the statue, you mean?
Yes, because right, mend the stone is a spell, right? So
Oh,
if you
I see.
can mend to the statue, which is
Mhm.
stone, maybe. But he's keeping all that information to himself.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
not sharing.
Okay. All right. In that instance, I do think Mace would still probably just be, leaving his vote on, find
Actually,
a forge, melt
If
it
this
down.
is a magic effect, dispel you have dispel magic, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be able to dispel magic if it's transmutation?
I could, but the likelihood of that happening is low.
Eh.
Because I would have to dispel magic at a higher level spell and then roll high in order to
Then
break.
maybe we wait until we're about to do that long rest if you have the spell slot available. Try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You get it back anyway.
Maybe, yeah. I don't think I'm gonna have any spell slots available the rate we're going. But yes,
I specified if. I know what the city has been doing to our resource consumption.
Yeah, I mean, are you
Yeah,
guys do you guys even have any hit die left? I don't know where Mason
I
may
don't.
fall on that, but I imagine it's probably pretty slim, if any.
I have 0 hit die remaining between the 2 long rests we've taken.
let's see. Well, I didn't really get
Sorry, 2 short
hurt
rests we've taken. I said
that time. Yeah, I have 6.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
don't
really
frontline
get
too
hurt
much.
that
Yeah.
last time.
But that's you still used what almost half of them.
Yeah.
Across. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Okay. Because I
But,
wasn't
like, my
really 100%
spells
sure where
are
you guys
low.
were on that. Yeah.
I would have probably been better off if I hadn't gotten mauled and mauled the bird. That's where most of my hit die went.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Alright, so Valine's acting, you said fidgety or just weary?
Wary of you guys. She's kind of watching you with a little more keen eyes than she used to. She's packing her belongings away and kind of double checking that she's got all the ones that she wants and are hers. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing out of the ordinary from what I've known of the magic people we've encountered so far.
Mhm.
So,
go ahead. Players first.
pick people up and start putting people down on the ground floor.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask as well. Is there a specific order people want to try and go in? I'm pretty sure Mace would probably say something to the effect, or Leif, one of the two, of, bring me down first, I'll cover the ground or whatever.
Melee fighter first, magic people, melee fighter last.
Yeah, so we'll take Mace first. He'll argue, he's got the strongest armor, so if he gets attacked solo, he can last the longest. And then, I don't know, Pluzak, you want to go before Valine or after?
After.
Okay. So Valine kind of sees you guys in the room as Kara, you come back up after dropping Mace off, and you're kind of like, okay, come on, and she just looks at Pluzak and Leif, and she's like, "There wasn't anything we missed, right? You you guys staying to take something, or what's going on here? Why me first? Why not you? Why not you, Turtle? You expecting me to die down there? You want me to die down there?"
Mace is down there. You're not gonna die.
She like narrows her one eye that isn't covered in the eye patch at you, and then kind of like sidles over towards you, Kara, and like very gingerly lets you
anything,
pick her up. You know.
Kara's gonna be more tired if she picks me up first. Look
She
how
kind of
big
like
I am.
seeing you continue to try and like convince her. She slides a little further away from you. Just like lifts her arms like a child, like pick me up, bring me quick.
Hand, grab, lift, retreat.
As soon as she's on the ground with Mace, she's already like patting her bags again, make sure she still has everything. And she's like, "Okay, go get everyone else."
And fly up, grab Pluzak, because he'd be the next person, bring him down, and then come up for Leif.
Leif just kind of is waiting by the window. He sees you coming up, and he just jumps off, expecting you to catch him.
I do. Just one of those, like, dad's at a baseball game eating a hot dog, and the ball comes by the kid. He just puts the glove out, catches it, casually continues the conversation while eating the hot dog.
Leif's just like, "Yeah, I always wondered what it was like to fall from the sky. Thanks for catching me."
Mm-hmm.
So all of you will return back to the map, find yourselves once more. I will say, now that you are on the ground, un momento, let me get my maps all set up.
We're going over to
Kara,
Tower B1, right?
Yeah, but Kara, my dear, with your... Well, actually, I think both of you and Pluzak both have decent passive perception, enough so to not need to roll to see the bird has once again resumed its patrolling.
Bird's got better passive than I do, and I've got high passive, so Kara's just, fucking middle finger up to the bird like, "You want some? Come get some, bitch."
Do you wish to try and hide Pluzak? I think that at a minimum, Leif or Mace would probably say something to the effect of like, should we try and skirt by it? It's not. I don't think we should fight that thing again. And Leif is just like redoubling his grip on his laser rifle, sighting down.
Oh,
Leif, I
I'm
think you
more than
missed
happy.
it quite a few times.
I'm more than
Don't
happy to avoid it if the rest of you do, but if it picks a fight again, pinning it to the fucking ground and making it into a rotisserie chicken.
I think Mace at that point would kind of shoulder his heavy crossbow, bring it back to focus and just be like, I mean, if I can get one of these bolts to stick, it will technically be grappled and fall to the ground, so I'm with you.
We've got to finish what we were doing here. If the bird gets in the way, then we deal with the bird. Otherwise, we shouldn't.
I think Mace will nod. Leif will look slightly disappointed, but also nod.
If I were to pick up the group and use that invisibility thing, would they all go invisible with me?
I don't think so, because it works just like the invisible spell, which I don't think works on multiple people, right? It's just you and the objects on you.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to use like greater invisibility or something you can cast on multiple people or something to that effect.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to remember. I'd have to look at the spell exactly. Let me do so. Were you gonna ask something there, Fred?
Just trying to think, like, if I was invisible and covering them, would they technically be visible through me, something like that, or am I just like chameleon to the ground?
we would be seen. It would be like we were floating in there.
Just looking for options.
Yeah. And Pluzak would just be like, well, last time I tried to hide us with Pass Without a Trace, and it didn't really seem to work. So I'm not sure it's worth doing that again. At least right now.
All right, let me see. So you have invisibility.
Question is, what do we want to do while we wait for it to go by?
Well, actually, so Kara, how many uses of that spell do you have?
I have 3 total uses.
I guess technically you could cast it and then so it's a creature you touch, right? So you could cast it on 3 separate creatures. You just have to do it one at a time. Hold concentration on that creature. They go somewhere. Drop concentration. Touch someone. Move them. Or you can cast it on yourself, so you're not seen as easily. I think it's individuals though, and it's a creature you touch. So you can cast it on
Okay.
any one of them. It's just, or any of yourselves, I should say.
Good to know.
Yeah. And then, is it greater? Is the one that? No, it's the same creature you touch, so there's no invisible spell that works on multiple at once.
Alright. Well, if that is the case,
If I'm seeing at least. Yeah.
oh, we'd have to either avoid it or fight it. Or go to a different tower, but that's the most isolated tower, so I say we risk it.
I have invisibility that I can cast on myself.
Well, and we know.
1, 2. I could get. If you can cast it twice, I can cast it 3 times, and then we could all walk as a group.
Well, so
I
that's
can
the
only
thing
cast
though.
it on
Is
myself.
it's concentration as well. So you'd have to cast it on one person, let them move somewhere, and then drop it to cast it on the next.
Yeah.
Okay, that won't work then.
So it's 55 feet is 200 feet of movement, right? And that's about what is it? 5 minutes, I believe, is what it takes you to cautiously search that. So it would take you guys, 7 minutes to get to the tower. I don't think there's a distance limit on where they have to be in close, in proximity to you. So
No,
you
it's
could,
just a time limit,
You
I
could
think.
technically just move people across one at a time if you really thought that would work. That's ultimately up to you, and it kind of does force some level of maybe not separation if like Pluzak walks with one and then comes back. I don't know.
There'd have to be some Scooby-Dooism.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not impossible, but it would be up to you guys to figure out how to make it work.
I don't
With-
think that
with-
would be.
With the movements we've seen with the rock, how long do we think it would take for the rock to pass this area?
About an hour. Usually hovers for about an hour in a place and then moves on.
I think it might just be better to
Wait it out.
wait it out.
Okay.
We can absolutely do that. Okay, cool.
Then we hide in the shadow of the tower and try to wait out the bird.
Absolutely. So I'll just have a, my brain is blanking. Elder Scrolls wait bar pop up. You guys wait an hour. Let me make note. So okay. So with that, the bird would eventually start flying away. It would head roughly over in this direction, and then begin to start circling over here.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Let's go.
Okay. So I need to check something quick. You're at 1 to 2 p.m., which is number 3. Okay. So are you going invisible, Pluzak? Or are you guys just going stealth? Are you just walking it? I don't know if I picked up on.
I don't
What's
think we're
going
going to use invisibility to get across, but we've probably walking as cautiously as we could to get across there. So I'd say stealth roll.
Just stealth rolls?
Built it up.
Okay.
Where's my
So
sheet?
then
Why won't it open?
Feline. Feline sounds
Yeah.
pretty good. She seems. Oof. Pluzak rocking it. And I presume you're not using Pass Without Trace.
Nope.
I gotta reload the page because apparently it won't let me open up my sheet.
Odd. Then Mace will need to do disadvantage.
There it goes.
Every time I step, there's just like a fart that I think silent.
I actually think it's
Say,
in my mind
"Arr."
what I'm imagining is you're on like your tiptoes, right? And as you walk along, there's just like this stench cloud visibly behind you, leaving a trail anyone can follow.
Yeah.
Um, and then I need to do Leif still. Disadvantage on stealth. Hey, at least Leif's joining you, man. Um,
Please don't leave.
so, so
So the
Mace
smell
is
of fish and death is just walking across the field.
yeah, exactly. So Mace, having been blessed by Kara's holy graces, seems to be a little bit more dexterous or something than he used to, as his armor is not quite making as much noise as usual. But between Pluzek's stench cloud and Leif constantly whispering in a voice loud enough to wake the dead, you guys are actually going to end up um, not necessarily drawing attention to yourselves immediately per se, but not paying enough attention while you're walking around that you do stumble across something. So let's go to this quick, and I want you to just put yourselves in on the west side there, where you should be able to see what's going on.
What's up?
Let me drop Mace with you. Kara, let's get you proper size.
Make a token at this point. Make it
I
easier.
probably should just set your token, yeah. I believe I have to go to your sheet for that, and then click you, edit, token, use selected token, save changes. Let's see, did that work? Yep, okay, cool. So you should just come out as big now. And then Leaf is one missing still. Pop him between you two, and Valine is going to be kind of with you, but not super with you. Okay, cool. Party's there. Dogs are losing their minds again. And let me tab over to this. So, do you guys want to just do a initiative for me outright? We'll do it that way to see who moves first and all that.
Certainly.
So that one is Leif first, then Mace, and then Valine. Okay.
So Valine, then Leif, then me, then Mace, then Pluzak?
Very possibly. Leif it was Mace, Leif was the 9. Mace was, oh gosh, yeah, the 15. Oh no. I had that backwards. It was Leif then Mace. Because I can see it in this, I think. Yeah. Cool. So then, yes, Valine will go 10, 20, and take cover here. And look to the group just to have you guys move ahead of her. Then it will be Leif, who is just going to saunter 10, 20, 30, and we'll summon an echo. 15 out as he does. Just put like a little blue dot on it, and that will go 5, 10, 15, so he can kind of see more of what's going on. Let me get that tool out. So as Leif just kind of walks forward, feel I think roughly 60 feet or so, and what you see there, or what he sees, and kind of like is going to hand motion back as best he can, is there's some sort of light source. Not that it's too dark for you guys to see or anything. It's just I wanted to be able to represent that you're stumbling across this sort of thing. So after that, it is Kara.
Just, Pink Panther music as she just moves along the building.
Okay. Yeah, so you definitely see what the echo was symboling, and there's this kind of dim light that seems to be emanating from somewhere ahead of you. And you would hear like a wet-sounding slap. Besides that, anything else, Kara?
I guess I would take the dodge action in case something comes at me.
Okay. Mace is just going to follow along with you, have his shield at the ready. And we'll mark you, and we'll mark him with the boot, because I think he'll do the same. Just be prepared. And Pluzek.
I'm gonna dash. I'm gonna come down here first.
Mhm.
Take a peek to the south,
Mhm.
and then come
Yeah.
over here.
Okay.
Stay next to the building. Peek around the corner.
Yeah, so you definitely kind of have the same thing going on as Kara and Leif Secco. You see the lights for sure, and you probably have a high enough passive perception. You would have also heard the wet slap. Okay, back to the top. So, gotta do a couple rolls here. 1 sec. Okay, so it can't do that. And then it's Valine's turn, so she'll just keep sauntering up. She's just going to move to the other side of you, Kara, and kind of take refuge in, behind some debris here. Leif will kind of 10, 20, 30 to try and stay kind of closer to the building for cover just in case if he needs to duck in, and then 10, 30 with his echo to get it closer. And let's just chunk this out. So as he comes closer, although he can't see the one on the other side of the building, he would notice there is something that seems to look like a rock, a large rock with tentacles and a row of sharp-ass teeth, holding onto a cold light walker. You guys definitely have seen enough of them to know what they are, and kind of chomping down on it. It seems to be trying to fight back, but it is much more bloodied than the tentacled rock seems to be.
I didn't think those things could bleed. I thought they were just like light in a coat.
Sort of. They're corpses. If anything, it looks like dark, rotted, fetid blood, old. Barely leaks out of the body, but with how many kind of wounds these sharp teeth are creating, it's dribbling down the rock nonetheless.
He just ate a Gushers.
Something like that, yeah. Old, gross Gushers, but yeah. That's going to be, I think, Leaf's. Actually, it's the Echo. I didn't specify what it had. We'll say the Echo has the sword and Leaf has his rifle out. Can he take a shot if he does? Yeah, why not? I think he'll look over at you guys first, though, since you're all trying to maintain stealth, and shrug his shoulders as he raises his rifle. You looking into him to attack?
Do we have a path around this that wouldn't get us caught by anything? You said there were lights down to the south this way and lights this way?
Or... do you see... Oh, actually, you know what? I just realized I meant to have these visible to you, and I don't think I do I? Give me 1 sec. Yeah.
I was going to say, if there's nothing down to the south...
No. I intended to actually have visible lights, and I forgot to actually set them to visible for you guys. That's my fault. You should see them popping up as things.
Because if we could go that way and around them and not have to fight things, that would probably be for the best.
Okay. So, did that make the lights show up? Yes, it should.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So at least you have some semblance of that now.
With Leif gesturing, Kara would try to think of a convenient way to get her message across, but I think it just ends up being a loud whisper of the soup's not on the pot.
He will slowly, lower the sight so as to show he understands. It would make it your turn, Kara.
I will pick up Valine and Mace and get over to this way, towards this building.
Okay. Valine would kind of slap at your hand as you reach out for her, but as she sees you grab at Mace and kind of gets the idea of what you're doing, she will kind of let you move her with you.
As we're walking,
Quit being feisty. Stop trying to grab me out of nowhere. It's fucking weird.
Don't make me stuff you in the bag. Put them down.
You can't. Statue's there.
I'll throw the fucking statue.
Mace is like, oh.
And goodbye.
Getting in her car again, I bet.
Probably. So I'd get everybody over to here, and that would be. I guess I could technically action search, but I don't think I need to waste that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting over here after carrying them, I'd have used my action to pick them up and get them across.
Yep. Okay, that's fine. In that case, it would be Mace's turn. So I guess he will question. We're sneaking? Like what? You want to just keep going?
No point in fighting them if we don't have to.
Okay, I more meant like you want me to go ahead of you.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so he will just continue.
Not too far. Not Plutech would say not too far.
Okay, so he can only go about here. He won't dash. He will, I guess, dodge again and just keep attention towards this back alley. Make sure nothing comes down that way towards you guys. And Pluzak.
Okay, we're doing it. Pass without a trace.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna have you all re-roll stealth for me now that we have pass without trace, because we had a couple of crit failures, and I'm going to say that the magic, as it kind of wraps its shadows and mists around you all, gives you another chance at re-hiding yourself with this new kind of sense of cover. So let's get some new stealth rolls.
Okie dokie.
Now I forget, is that advantage for everyone in it, or is it just
No,
a
it's
+10?
plus
It's just
10.
a +10. Yeah, okay. Did you do the same
ghost.
thing? Pluzak, at least it's better than a crit, right?
Close.
Crit failure, yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's Valine. Kara's doing good. Mace.
Like, alright, everyone be really cool. Where the fuck did the giant go?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, oh, Kara must have turned invisible. No. Oh god, looks up, like, realizing. That's Mace, and then... Oh, okay. Well, I guess they're the same. Okay, cool. So... Let me just check this quick.
I moved 25 feet to keep everybody within my
Circle, yeah.
sphere.
If you want, you can move the full 30 because everyone moves at once on the turn, right? So as long as they end their turn in your circle, I'll say that they kind of maintained it during the move, because that way you're not handicapped 5 less feet since people are in weird positions.
Unless Shadow Leif is sticking with Leif, I think he poofed at this point.
He can be as long as he's within 30.
Oh, it's 30? I thought it was less than
No,
that.
he can only be summoned within 15, but they can exist within 30. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird rule, but yeah. So you do that, and then I just need to do this. Okay, and then you. Okay. Alright. Awesome. So, you move there, Pluzak, and that's it for your turn, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I gotta do some rolls. This one tries this twice. 1, 2. 1 will hit. And you... So you would, I think, at a minimum, Leif, Kara, I guess, with how tall you are and where you're on the map as well, you would be able to see it. You have line of sight over there. But essentially, these two, the ones that you kind of saw fighting earlier, the one that's in the sharp row of teeth, kind of stuck in the mouth, being bitten, it takes and slams its hand against the side of the rock, hard enough that very clearly, it's you watch as the rock kind of bends a little under the blow. Does some pretty significant damage. And there seems to be some sort of a liquid dribbling down the side of the rock now that wasn't before, that you don't think is related to the thing being chomped on. And then you guys would watch as a couple of flashes shoot out, like flashes of bright light shoot out, but I don't think any of you have line of sight on what it is that's flashing, so you don't necessarily see the effect from it. Yeah, I think that's that for that turn. So this takes that, and we will go back to the top of the turn order. Do some more rolls on my end, my bad. You would hear what sounds like some sort of honestly, a violent retching, and the splash of some sort of a liquid in the distance, but you don't visually see anything, so you're not really able to tell what occurred, but otherwise it is going to be Valine's turn. So Valine will keep sneaking, keep up here. Actually, I think she would specifically keep distance there. And then Leif will keep up too. I'm going to have him dash. And as he leaves this echo behind, it just like turns and holds a hand out at him sadly as it dissipates.
Oh, Father War.
Yeah, and then he'll have him summon another echo. This time we'll have him summon it with the laser rifle, since he still has a bonus action, up at the corner, and just kind of peeking up. And we will chunk out the next section of the map.
We're gonna be out somewhere, and I'm just gonna nonchalantly go to you. Soup's bad.
Yeah. Yep. That's gonna be a thing for all of us at some point. It's just gonna be a phrase. But that'll be Leif's turn. Kara.
Move to here.
Mm-hmm.
For my action, I guess.
You could stealth again just in case. If you really need to.
But that 23, I think I'm pretty good. It's technically a 33 right now, so it's like I don't even cast a shadow.
That is kind of true. I have shit in lane. Let's get rid of that shit.
I can,
there we go.
I guess get out to there. I'm gonna keep along the side of the building, but like, just about there, give or take.
Absolutely.
I could stand over top of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You're definitely big enough. That shouldn't be an issue. If you were size large, maybe there's an argument, but you're fucking big enough they can stand between your legs and just take cover if they need to. More damage to you, but doable.
This wouldn't be the first time.
Meat shield, yay! Okay. Mace will keep
Not even
following
a meat
you.
shield, it's a shin shield at this point.
Yeah. 10, 20. He'll just keep up on you. Be prepared to help try and block some damage if any comes your way. Pluzak, you are up. Keep moving with the group. If you are talking, you're muted, just so you know. I don't know if you are.
I was. Moving there.
Awesome.
I'll not turn around and say, there's more of them. More.
Okay. So, anything you actually want to do action-wise or anything?
Not die.
Okay, fair enough. We'll see what happens. At this point in the turn, it would once again be these things. So it will be the one in the mouth first. Okay. So you would kind of, I guess, hear at least Kara and Pluzak another kind of smack that sounds similar to what happened when Leif and Kara saw the rock get hit. So something occurred there, and then in terms of the others, you will watch as bright flashes kind of occur again, and you would see these, or at least Pluzak and Kara, you're probably tall enough to see over the corner of the building. You guys would see this rightmost one here. The bright flashes of light that you're seeing would be kind of their face lasers that you've seen them use before, shooting out at these rocks with tentacles and teeth. One of the two, the one that you can see, definitely hits. You're not sure what the other one, whether it hits or misses, but you do see a second flash of light, like from a different source, that tells you, they both are definitely firing up at these creatures. So, you're at least aware of the infighting. From there, it would be, once again, the thing chowing down would have a turn. We'll see if he can still continue to eat away at his little meal here. Ah, yes, okay.
So,
go ahead.
From here, I can see this dude with the mouth and the tongue and the tentacles.
I would say you can see this guy here. You probably can't.
Okay.
You can maybe see like an edge of this thing, but yeah, there is a building here. It's kind of hidden in the light. That might make things hard.
Oh.
But
yeah.
with how deteriorated things are, I'm gonna say like it's only half cover at best. So like there's some way you can see a little bit of what's happening, enough to know what's happening. But maybe if you were to shoot a spell, it's not direct line of sight per se. If that makes sense.
I was more along the lines of like, is this one of the hold on, Rims?
Ah, okay. You wouldn't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no. If anything, roll me, I guess, history, or let me look at the sheet. Does anything else make sense? Nature might, history or nature. And let's see if if you have enough memory of other things.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you absolutely do. So, judging by the way that these are what seem to be, actual rocks, like it looks pretty indistinguishable, if not for the fact that they're moving, and when you see the edges of them kind of like shimmer and move, they almost look fleshy in the sense of like how it wiggles, and they have these long. You realize as you're thinking, they have pseudopods, and then oh wait, there's teeth. These are mimics, some sort of them, but yeah, mimics.
Great. Every fucking rock that we come across is now potentially a mimic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Good news is only Pluzak knows this right now.
Just writing down actually mimics.
Oh god. And then you would actually see Pluzak. So as you're studying this thing, because it is still the turn of this one here, since the one up north did its turn, you would notice that same kind of retching noise occurs again. And I need to do a roll on this guy. Probably a failure, judging by how they've been rolling. Yep, okay. You would watch as essentially this pool of acidic bile suddenly flies from the rock that you're looking at, that you're studying, shoots out of its mouth towards this bottom rightmost walker that you can see. And it is unable to move fast enough and finds itself quickly drenched in this, what is very clearly burning it, an acidic bile. So you also manage to catch view of that before it is now Valine's turn. So she's just going to continue catching up to the group, stick with you guys. Leif will, I guess at this point, kind of shimmy under your legs, Kara, to be a little bit more forward, and then look up at you and look back at Mace and just be like, "So kill it, or?"
I'm content to let things that are trying to kill each other without us.
Do we want to sit here and have them kill each other because they're the sources of light?
Maybe. probably be a
And
good bet. I don't
if
really.
something's left, we can kill it.
That might be the way to go. Kara peering over the top of the building.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and while I don't like him very much, he can die.
Oh, if it helps, I can put most of you on the roof of this building, and you can be out of sight, out of mind for most of them.
Hmm. I mean, it's not going to help Mace.
He's got a crossbow.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He's got a crossbow and he's got spells.
Yes,
He
so
doesn't
the
use a
crossbow, I would
spell.
say, I think he only has array bolts. I don't know that he actually took and stocked up on true heavy bolts for himself as well, because it was more to take stuff out of the sky. I think it's more he relies on magic for the distance on damage like that. But
But
yeah,
I mean,
he
he's
does
got
have
like
that too.
firebolt and cantrips.
Exactly,
and
that's what I'm
whatnot.
saying. Yeah, he has those too. Yeah, so you're totally spot on. I just more meant I think he doesn't actually have true crossbow bolts. If you need that, just so you know, just
Gotcha. But just as a thought, if we're gonna wait this out, put you guys on top of a building, and this doesn't look like there's staircase access to the top of it, so I can fly up into the sky if they catch us, and they have no way of physically assaulting you guys.
Love you all. Catch you all later.
Later, Kim. But if we're gonna wait out them fighting each other, then kill the last thing standing, that would probably be the best place to do it from.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty good to do it from there. If we're going to wait this thing out. I mean, the other option is, like I said, the wraiths get taken out, right? And then it's dark, and then we just tried to
Get out that way. No, I'm
scoop.
down for either option.
okay.
But
So if you're down for either option, I think Mace would probably agree with you, because I do believe Claw actually mentioned in a past session of, if hoping that you'd come across people that would, in fighting. So I think he's also on that same page of, why get involved if we don't have to. Leif and his Echo are both holding guns, looking dejected, but otherwise will not engage unless you guys actually want to, because he's, still part of the crew. Valine is just looking at you all like... Actually, I think at this point she would probably voice the opinion of, hey, if it keeps me from dying, let's just sneak by.
alright, so we wait until we have an opportunity to escape without notice.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. What if they kill each other and then turn to us? Shouldn't we just go while we can, while they're distracted?
They don't know we're here, so far as I'm aware.
I mean,
If they kill each other and then come to us, well, then half the party is dead. Like, half of their party is dead, which is better than us attacking now, right?
if you say so, I'm just sticking back here. I just figured I'd voice the opinion.
Let them slug it out. Either we get by them or we deal with the leftovers.
You mean you deal with the leftovers? It is why I hired you, after all.
Kind of looks down between her legs and it's just like, when did you decide you were going to stop helping us with things?
I'm just kind of making sure I don't die. Okay. Looks over at Pluzak.
Pluzak this time won't turn around to acknowledge that statement. This one time.
Okay. Awesome. But his
That
mushrooms,
may or may
his
not
mushrooms might be
concern
looking
her
for him, though,
more.
but she doesn't know that.
Yeah, right.
The symbiotic entities are just like, say the word, boss, we got this one.
Spore.
Yeah.
We're extra potent right now. We're ready.
But
Oh, God.
I think the general consensus is just we wait and see what they do, and if we have an opportunity, we get out. If the opportunity doesn't work, then we have to fight our way out. We wait until there's only one left, and we kill the one.
Alrighty. Fair enough. Then I think Valine, at a minimum, would... Or, sorry, it was Leif we were on. Would probably keep position for both him and his Echo. and would hold an action for both of them to fire a shot at the targets they can see if the group needs to engage, but otherwise he'll just chill with you guys for now. Kara, that makes it your turn.
Well, if people didn't say no to going up to the roof, so I'd put people who want to go up to the roof on the roof.
Okay. I think Leif will have you raise his echo up there at a minimum. So it'll sit on the top corner, just like laying there like a sniper. He kind of Leif himself looks up with sorrowful eyes as he's like, I wish it was me, but mine has ammo. And anyone else want to go up? I think Mace is going to stay down there. He'll probably move to the front to continue being the shield that he is.
I'll be up there.
Pluzak.
Okay. I'll put Pluzak up there.
So go ahead and move yourself up there, Pluzak. Put yourself on the lip, and then you can shift yourself once it's your turn. And that will make it... Well, actually, Kara, any actual bonus actions or movement?
No movement. I'm staying hidden within the shadow of the building.
And technically Pluzak's thing still. It's area of effect, right? So, yeah.
My action... I thought I was using it to put people up there.
You are. I said bonus action. Bonus action and movement, yeah. No, I was putting myself on the same page as you just to make sure we were talking the same
bonus actions are mostly combat based, so no.
Alrighty.
That's me.
Yeah, no worries. Just double checking. So yeah, Mace will, like I said, he'll slide himself to the front end of the group and just prepare his shield and his wings and keep dodging and be ready to intercept anything that potentially comes you guys' way. And Pluzak, that makes it your turn. Well, I actually like that. That's an interesting idea if I'm reading you right.
Can't really talk to the people because I'm too far away from them. But
Well,
yeah, I'm gonna move there.
Yeah. You can whisper at Leif's echo and see what it does.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Mimics are not undead. Okay, so... And this is...
I'd like to add, I do like when Pluzak's researcher knowledge comes into play with history checks and shit.
Yeah, it helps.
He gets to know the death that's coming.
Yeah. I'm just gonna dodge up here, I guess.
Okay, absolutely. If you want to throw a boot on yourself, feel free. And I will get to the enemies. Okay. So, the two remaining Cold Light Walkers are going to do their bit. And I think both of them are just going to keep shooting their face lasers. Let's see. And then only a single one will hit. Is this guy for that many's? Which actually, funny enough, is the exact amount needed. So you watch another kind of flash of light, but you don't quite know the effects. You know, when you round the corner to see what happened, you'll see it, but pretend you don't see what just popped up. Otherwise, that will be their turn, and that goes back to the top. This one will take, let's see, I think, am I in the wrong thing? I'm on the wrong thing. It's that, okay. So, it slides a little further over this way. Seems to start trying to flee, but will also, let's see. Yep, it's unable to. That's about it for now. It slides over that way, starting to try and flee from these things. So Pluzak, you would just kind of lose line of sight on it. Or actually, no, not... Yeah, everyone would at this point. But you'd... Yeah. You'd know it was moving that direction, I think, before you lost line of sight. It's just too close to the building, if anything.
Yeah, I probably couldn't see it before, because if it was here...
Yeah, I'm wondering... Well,
right,
I'm thinking you're high enough on the building that I think you might have been able to see the top of it, kind of like over the building. But right now it's so close to the wall, I'm thinking it kind of cuts the angle off, sort of thing. You know, just my brain doing physics like physics. So at that point, we go to Valine. She's going to just hold an action to stick with Kara, I think. She's basically just going to try and, you know, run right behind your legs or stick underneath your legs for cover. And Leif will start to try and sneak forward, I think. 10, 20, 30. He's going to try and like keep line of sight broken. And his echo will just kind of keep eyes focused on the target that it's got. And it will just continue to hold an action to attack if necessary. And that puts us on Kara.
I'd peer around the building and try to get an eye on how the fight's going.
Okay. You would believe the two Cold Light Walkers that are close to you. One of them is what you would consider bloodied, much like the earlier one. You know, there's just kind of old, gross blood spilling somewhat out of it. The other one seems not too worse for wear, but definitely has some remnants of acid burns on its coat. The creatures you wouldn't really be able to see, so you're really not sure on the tentacled rocks.
Okay. So this rock here, is it large enough that if Kara were to crouch and tuck behind it, she'd have some form of cover? Or is it still too big?
If you get low, it's maybe half cover at best.
Alright, so she's at least something to like break up her silhouette. So
You would lose your
pass without trace.
I still rolled that 23.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, yeah, all of us, rolled real high on that.
So I guess Kara would get to hear and just keep trying to see what's around to make sure that there's nothing we're missing hiding out in here.
Yeah, so in terms of where you're looking there with the arrow, you definitely don't see anything catching your eye. I would say you probably still don't see either of the mimics, that you're aware of in, your current line of sight. You probably guesstimate, they're still on the other side of the building from you.
Did Pluzak share that these were probably mimics?
No.
Nope.
I'm just using that term to make sure you know which ones I'm talking about.
Well, just the next thing I would have done was check the rock, but...
Yep, I get you. Are you touching the rock at this point?
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay,
I would tell you that at this point, if you are touching the rock, the surface is definitely hard and cold, much like a rock should be. So that thought would kind of pass through your mind as you get there, realizing it too late. But considering it doesn't seem to flex under the pressure of you like the rocks that you guys saw getting hit earlier, you think you're okay right now in that regard.
Okay.
Definitely a valid question, though. Like you said earlier, every rock kind of becomes suspect. It's definitely good to be careful.
Well, that was also under the assumption that he told us that these are mimics. If he didn't say anything, Kara would have pressed up against a rock anyway.
Yeah,
so
fair.
that's where I was going with this.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, is that it for your turn?
I-
I'm going to assume so. If he really needs
Yeah.
something else, but I didn't think so. All right, so Mace will, I guess, stick with Leif more. 10, 20, 30. And it's you, Pluzak.
I mean, not really much for me to do up here. I will continue to dip, dive, duck,
Dodge, dip, duck,
And-
dive, dodge.
dodge. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then, the turn of these things. Right, so then we have 2 going out that way. And that's that, and 2 going out that way. Okay, so you would watch 2 flashes of light shoot off into the... Or sorry, 4 flashes of light technically shoot off into the distance to the north, but you don't quite know what they are hitting, if at all, anything. It's the best you can tell, these things are still not quite shooting at you.
Okay.
And that puts us back at the top. And Valine will start to shuffle forward. She would have... I think actually technically she would have moved her last move with Kara because she was supposed to stay under your legs for cover. So she would have moved as close as she could to be with you, which would have been here. So actually she has movement for this turn, which I'll say she moves up to here to try and stay in cover. Leif will continue 10, 20, just kind of take cover behind the building here. And you know what? I'm just gonna... This one's dead.
Okay, I am back.
Welcome back.
Leif and Mace are moving in.
Yeah, they're trying to at least stay in cover enough to not be in line of sight, and they're stealthing still. But, you know, everyone's just kind of doing their thing. Kara, it is actually your turn. Leif just finished his, so...
Okay. Have the Cold Light Walkers moved anywhere, or are they just
The last thing that
staying...
you guys saw was they shot another 4 flashes up towards the north, but you guys did not quite see where or how those landed. You just know that they're currently still focused up that way. And they have not moved, last that you saw.
Okay. Kara would kind of look back to Pluzak and just gesture as, is this our moment?
Luzak would shake his head no.
Okay.
He can't see, so he's gonna say no.
I will continue to hide then. So I'll use my action to hide.
Alrighty. So, you're just going to continue the... You're saying that more in terms of flavor text. You're not actually doing another hide action, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure, because you still have the crit. I didn't think you need to reroll. I was just wondering if that was your intention. Alright, Mace will do the same as Leif and just kind of duck in behind the building, and he also will start to try and, you know, look for the signal to go, and that makes it your turn, Pluzak.
Okay, so if I move to the north part of this building, can I see the top,
Yes. Yeah, with your line of sight there, absolutely.
Okay, so Pluzak's gonna move up here.
Yep. So you would see at that point that the 2 rocks that were over there, although they look kind of like a rocky form still, they are laying a lot more kind of splayed out across the ground in this, what looks odd for what was supposed to be a boulder. The pseudopods and the teeth, you know, their jaws are kind of laying lax and, honestly, you would believe most likely dead. The walker that was up there as well is half-eaten and also most likely dead.
I would whisper down to Valim. The big guys are dead, and can't see anything else. But obviously we can see the light.
Yeah. So I guess she would kind of hiss back up at you like, "So what? The north is clear? You want to go that way?"
We can see. We can wait to see what the light creatures are doing, and then determine from there if they go to the north and pass by, they pass by. If they come south, then now's our chance to attack.
Okay. I guess she would just kind of, "All right, fine. I'm ready when you are. We'll see what they do." And
I would hold an action
perfect.
for Toll the Dead. Something comes with range of 60 feet of me.
Okay. So just
I will cast it.
Yeah, if something comes close enough that you want to hit it with it, just let me know, and we will do it at that point. And at that point, it actually rolls over to the Cold Light Walkers. So the first one would initially kind of seem to start wanting to saunter off towards the north, like you were thinking, but a quick jerky motion from the one on the right, actually kind of gesturing its arm over towards the west, stops the one on the left from moving to the north, and then it turns on its heel, and both of them are going to move 20 feet to the south and start to try and shoot some beams at Mace and Leif. So they rolled a 16 on perception, and at one point would have seen Leif move up with a 15. And
15, yeah.
as they come across this corner, actually, you know what? They might not have line of sight on Mace Fully, do they? No, they don't. So it's just going to be Leif. I think they can kind of shoot at, but he is behind half cover at a minimum. So we'll see what they can manage. But they're certainly going to try. Okay. So they are unable to quite hit Leif. The beams are just going to start kind of chipping away at the stone in front of him where he's taking cover. It's the one on the left, I presume, that you are hitting, Pluzak?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
So I see damage. It has to
wisdom
do
17.
wisdom. Thank you. It will most likely fail, I imagine. Yes, it will fail. So your spells are still doing the weird damage thing. What is your total? I see a 6 and something something that didn't come across.
2 6s if they haven't been damaged.
The one on the left, they've both been damaged actually. Now that I'm looking, so would it be d12s?
Yes.
So give me them d12s.
Just do it in here. This one. Yep. 3 damage.
God damn it, man! I'm sorry. You had 12. I made
3.
you take 3.
3 damage.
But it definitely works. You're told the dead. You feel it take effect. Meanwhile, the two of them are missing pretty profusely on Leif, so you at least have that going for you. That is the end of their turn, and that will put us to Valine. I think Valine is going to 10, 20, 5, and tuck into as much cover behind Mace as she can. And you'll just kind of see her cower there, dodge actioning. It's going to be Leif's turn. Seeing as he's getting shot at, Leif is going to kind of shoot a glance up at you, Pluzak, like shrug his shoulders and point to his echo. Like, can it shoot?
Soup is bad!
Is that Pluzak actually saying that?
Yep.
Okay. He like pumps his fist, super excited that someone else has said his catchphrase for once. Meanwhile, the echo is going to lob 2 shots of the laser rifle, wherever it is. There we go. Am I rolling with disadvantage by accident? I mean, a 13 is still the first to come up, and that will actually strike it. So he will hit 23 on
Wow.
one of them, and I'll have
I
him
wish
shoot.
I could do that.
I'll have him shoot again at the same one, I guess. I think that probably makes the most sense, right? Laser rifle at 9 will not hit, though. So the one in front, this one seems pretty severely damaged, especially, having taken this shot of basically, like, radiant damage to its cold form. Doesn't seem to do any extra damage. I'm just pointing out that it is, good for against ice. That leaves them there, and Kara's turn.
Is Kara back?
Did he stand up?
Muted this whole fucking time.
Ooh, that's rough.
Oh.
But I'm gonna do something I haven't done in a long time. I'm gonna pick up this rock and I'm gonna throw it.
Okay. You're picking up the rock that's in front of you there? The one
Yeah.
that's like 5 feet? Okay. So, sure. Do me a roll, improvised weapon. It would be with your dex modifier, considering it's a ranged attack you're trying to make. Were you throwing it at the left or the right one?
It is going to be at the closer of the two. You said with the dex modifier?
Yeah.
As you throw it, a mouth forms and opens and
Yeah, it actually
swallows
sticks
the
to your
ring.
hand and starts to eat you.
If we're using my dex modifier, it's a 12. If
Okay.
we were using the strength modifier, it's
we're
15.
doing dex for ranged, right? Isn't that almost always how it works? That's why Leif has so much trouble with his laser rifle versus his sword.
Right.
So with a 12, the boulder basically lands right next to it, crushing all of the rubble that is near that Cold Light Walker 2 dust. Definitely would have been a big hit, but you were just barely off, i.e. you guys should know it's AC now.
Yep.
With that, anything else? What's next?
I get closer to it and I just hit it with a flaming spear.
Alrighty, go for it. Stab it. Yep, there you go.
And
Well,
make sure that
Jesus
the
Christ.
giant strike is on. That means I rolled a 2.
I know.
Yeah, that strength modifier makes things crazy. Well, actually, yeah, it wouldn't matter. Yeah, go ahead.
It's going to take 29 points of damage, 6 of which is fire.
Mm-hmm.
My first action was to throw the rock, so
Mm-hmm. Yep, no, you're good.
that'd be me.
Alright, so this one will cave under your massive spear, and it'll be Mace's turn.
Click off
we'll
one
have
use of the
Mace.
fire giant strike.
Take this away, and then we'll just have him move out into position where he can see this thing, and we'll shoot a firebolt at it, as he tends to not disadvantage. There we go. Caught it this time. But an 11 will not quite hit, as his firebolt soars past this other walker. And Pluzak, it is your turn.
Okay. Move south. 70 feet. Yikes.
You're gonna have to jump down.
Chill touch.
Ah, okay, you're good. Go for it.
Got him.
That will most certainly hit. Chill touch is necrotic, right? That first die is still coming across as a no number. Just it's okay. You can just tell me what it is. Or actually, I think I can
6.
see it in the game log.
Yeah,
6 total.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this one takes 6. Still definitely a hit. Yeah. Anything else, please, Zach?
No.
Okay. This other one will now take its turn. It's going to do 2 shots. It will do one at Mace and one at Kara. Let's see what it can do. It will not quite hit Mace. It will not quite hit Kara. They're actually missing you guys pretty significantly. It will, however, start to try and gain whatever distance it can. And that goes back to Valine, who's just going to stay where she's at. Leif will have the Echo take a couple more shots. So he should still have... maybe not as much. So then we'll have Leif move out and just take the shots from himself. 1 will hit. 2 will not. And Kara.
Just because I really want to do this. That rock I threw earlier that landed here,
I'm picking it up.
I'll throw it again.
Go for it.
D20 plus 7. I
Yeah,
know that
14
hits.
definitely hits. We'll do 2d10 for damage. I think is pretty fair for a pretty big size rock. Nice. Oh no, wait, I'm misreading. Go for it. Still gotta have it come through. 9. There it is. Okay. You can roll your extra giant damage from that too. Your d4s.
You said the 2d10s, so I just...
Yeah, no, that was in terms of weapon die. You still get your bonus, from being able to huck it like a fucking beast.
That would be a
14
total of 14, and then I'll come up and spirit.
Alrighty.
The spirit of Kara.
Yeah. That'll still hit.
I'm not using a fire giant strike on this turn, so turning that off. I want to save those, and it's going to be 20.
Alrighty. So 20 will definitely be enough that this one also gets obliterated and is dead. Alright, so just tell me this. We'll speed things up a little bit. What's the path off the map you guys are thinking? As I know Pluzak was planning one way potentially versus another, so...
I mean, we're going to the tower.
Yes,
are we talking path off of this map, or...?
Yeah, so I'm just more mean when the party regroups, you're just walking like that Pluzak off, or were you going to go to the, go north, go... I just wanted to know, is there any degree to which you're changing up from where you are to get off the map?
I wanna check out the
Okay.
creatures.
All right. So just draw, your movement to get there. I want to see how many turns it would take. I'm just going to pass through that. Okay. So it'd probably take you, what, 2 turns with a dash?
Yeah.
Are you going to call for Kara to lift you off the roof, or are you just
I,
going to
I
jump
was
it?
pulling. I was
Yes.
planning on coming back
Okay.
to get him down
So-
anyway. So,
so you
for
can-
that, if I were to action dash, I could get there.
Yeah. I'm not going to be too. It's going to take Pluzak about 2 turns to get over there. We can say that the first turn is you go over, you put him on the ground, he starts walking. It's free enough right now. I'm just trying to still have it be
So,
make sense.
if that is the case, and it's 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, maybe.
Yeah, however long Pluzak wants to take to study things. That's about what I expected. Just wanted to make sure I was on that. All right, so Pluzak, you walk on over. What is it you're trying to study and or do?
I just want to verify it actually is a mimic, right?
Okay. Yeah. So
Um,
you as what are you doing to verify that? I guess is the best question.
Taking my sickle and
Dissecting
one
it.
make sure it's dead, right?
Okay,
You
okay.
know, so like sickle into like the skull or head or what looks to be above the mouth,
Mhm.
and then like using that to open the mouth to look in to see the teeth and the tongue and everything,
Yeah. Okay.
and just examining it a little bit to
Kara would stick a spear in and just leverage it open.
see if this see if it has any distinguishing marks that I might be able to use in the future if I see something like this, right? I know, and I
Mhm.
know, like I haven't ever come across a mimic before, right? I've
Right.
heard of mimics, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly if there is something. As a player, I know there isn't, but
Pluzak's trying to learn what he can
that's what
essentially. Yeah.
that's what Pluzak's
So
trying to do.
I would say in his research of this creature, Pluzak's able to come across a couple of pretty solid facts on how these things operate, how they function. Um, the way that it looks like a rock right now, Pluzak would think is kind of akin to almost a polymorph spell. It definitely changes its exterior, but it still maintains some level of its normal functions. You don't think it would naturally look like a rock per se. Um, you would kind of, as you stab into it with the sickle, you notice its skin seems to just have this cloying, sticky texture to it that almost resists your sickle a little. Not so much that it doesn't penetrate fine, but as you go to draw it from its skull, you just see the skin kind of sticking to it, and you notice that there's a high likelihood that should you stumble across one of these things or throw something at it or touch it in some way, the things will kind of be grabbed by this almost adhesive like texture that is on its flesh. The teeth are frightening, terrifyingly sharp, but you also would notice this kind of general dripping of acid from its jaws. You presume this is also what it was spitting, but you would believe that should you be bit by it, residual acid in its mouth will also do some pretty terrifying damage besides the teeth. And you would believe that with its long tentacles, its reach would probably be greater than 5 feet, but you don't know how long they'd actually be able to stretch because you can't really, tell with how they're laying coiled or without, seeing them actually trying to stretch or trying to pull it or something. It's tough to tell, but definitely greater than a
Okay.
5-foot reach.
Cool. Turn to Kara. I'd say mimic. And then I would start walking away.
Looking, how much of a rock do they look like at this point?
So it's one of those things. If you saw it laying here like this, your mind would not necessarily think it's a boulder or a rock. It would seem like some sort of weird, unnatural structure made of stone. But you would know from having seen them during their fight that if this thing were alive and had been just sitting still, not moving at all, it would have been almost indistinguishable from just a traditional boulder. No real way to tell.
As we're walking past, Kara would just poke this one with the spear as she was walking by, just to make sure.
Yeah, that one would it would be definitely very very hard and rocky and not very much a fleshy texture like the other mimics seem to be. So
Just anytime there's a sizable rock now, Kara's just gonna poke it with a stick.
yeah. Hey, so at this point, you guys will say, unless Pluzak, are you not studying anything anymore, are you?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so we'll just say you guys are gonna, you leave off the map at this point, and just in case it wasn't as obvious as I feel like it was, yeah. Oh, sorry, I just put something to the wrong layer, didn't I? Send to back. Yeah. So one of the rocks was still. It did not have line of sight on any of the walkers, so it decided to maintain hidden for any potential advantages. So hey, good choice on movement.
I almost went that way.
Yeah, I know. That's now you understand why I was kind of like just generally mark it out for me. You never know.
Me suddenly poking all the rocks is a valid conclusion.
As I get here, and I try to continue through, Rick's just like,
well,
you stop.
By the way, yeah, I mean it would have had technically like a surprise on you, so.
What's your armor class? You're grappled.
Well, if you touched it, you're auto grappled, but it can also swing at you if you come close enough. Yeah. So, but yes. So
they're sticky. Oh.
Yeah, sticky motherfuckers, right? So now you understand that, at least as players, which would have been fun. So there's that. Good job. Definitely done with this little random encounter. I will calculate experience out for you guys in a bit, and we are going to continue forth to your next section. Let's put you back on the Acropolis and drag it out here. And now you guys will be going to Tower Sad. And I'll just drag the rest of you. For some reason I can't grab that. Oh, I know why, because I'm on the wrong map. Or the wrong character. She can come too. Oh no, Tower Purple, you stay. There we go. Alright, so as you guys continue, you come across what appears to be ice that has engulfed the lower floors of this crumbling tower. Pink light pours out of the highest window, a single point of illumination in a dark and out-of-the-way region of the city. I would say, as usual, as you kind of approach the tower, much as she has done it the last couple, Valine would at least offer, I can still do detect magic if you want, figure out what this place is, but feels like you guys have just been taking to guessing at it as you figure stuff out, so, your call.
Yeah, I think we're good for right now. We'll let you know.
Like flashes you an okay symbol.
Kara would test the ice with the hammer, see how pliable it is.
The ice is definitely breakable. I would tell you, though, with the state of the tower being what it is, you actually think
the ice is more of a help than a hindrance?
Yeah, most likely. You definitely see a door that you can get in. It's not restricting you from entering, and it is certainly providing a level of support to the base of this tower that it's not a bad thing in your mind. I think Leif would also do the classic like summons an echo and just puts it next to the door and just kind of sits down and waits for you guys to tell him to do his thing.
Yep, I think that's what we need to do.
Okay. Alright, so we will have a Leif go in with his echo, but I need to give the dogs their bones quick, so I'm going to just take a quick 5 here to go do that. So if anyone wants to grab drinks, hit the restroom or anything, feel free, and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
So we thinking we just bypass all traps at this point and bust open the window and send people in?
I mean, we could.
Because right now it seems like that is the only way in, since ice is encompassing the bottom floors.
Well, he said there's a door that we can go through.
I read that as the ice has like engulfed the tower, like it was inaccessible on the lower floor. That's why I was asking if I needed to break it to get in. I might have misunderstood that.
We'll double check. I mean, obviously, if it is, then we just bust open the window.
That or you'd have to shrink me with magic to have the two of us explore the tower. Or you go up solo, one or the other.
I think we bring the echo in first. See what happens, and then go from there. If he keeps dying like on the stairs, I
Then we
think
know
it's
there's a
probably
problem.
probably just have you peek in the top floor, right, to see if there's anything up there, people or whatever, and then just go from there. Bust through the window. I mean, I am curious if Leif's echo does keep dying, right? But I also don't, it's 1 p.m. Like we still got a good 6-7 hours before we start a long rest or whatever.
Alrighty, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Any questions before we continue?
Yeah, the door you said it's a door entry into the first floor, or is the first floor
Yes.
completely
So,
blocked away?
the door would be closed at first, and as Leif kind of transfers his consciousness into his echo and uses his echo to push said door open, you would see, yes, there is a kind of, you could call it a first floor. The problem is, this tower is built much like the others, where this first floor is really more like a lobby that contains a spiral staircase that goes up.
Mm-hmm.
But from where you all stand, it is quite obvious, especially since some of the kind of dim light of the city kind of follows you in through the open door. This first room is not really well lit. Some of these other towers have had eternal flames that are just constantly burning. Most of them are, colored to match the tower. In this instance, this kind of first area does not have any of that. But you do make out, from the dim light that you have, there is kind of crudely and written in a language none of you know, but it would look familiar, kind of like one of the other times you came across a language in the city that you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's written in pitch and is just repeated, the same symbols, the same letters, same words clearly, over and over and over all across the walls of this first floor. Leif would, I guess, call out to you guys like, hey, there's writing. If we want to, orb guy, translate.
Yeah, I would look over at Malim and say, can Professor Scant help us out?
She would kind of have already been, like, covering her pouch, kind of looking at you all wary again. And she'd take him out, and she would hold him carefully in both her hands. And she would actually walk in herself, and would kind of stand close to Leif's echo, close enough that if something happens, she can, like, jump behind him for cover, but would actually otherwise hold Professor Scant herself and start to show him the room. At that point, I guess he would tell you all, Draconic! All work and no play make a Vera a dull girl. Strange phrasing. Wonder what it's about.
That's the actual saying?
That's what is written on the walls, according to him, yeah. All work and no play make a Vera a dull girl.
Kara looks at the tower, gets down on her knees, looks into the room where everybody else is. So what's the school of magic most likely to make someone go insane?
I mean, that depends. According to, Actually, no, sorry. Feline should be the one saying this. I mean, that depends. According to what we've come across already, the blue tower, what was it, the Tower of Abjuration, right? That one seemed to make the Echo go crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have... Yeah, I don't know. Necro Tower, maybe? Kara, you want to fly up to the window to see what's up there?
Sure. Kara will jump, use it as a boost to get some air, fly up,
Yeah,
get to
absolutely.
the tower's window, and just
so
kind of
I'm just gonna
peek in.
move the whole party over so we can all see what's happening. But Kara, you would be the only one aware of this. There's windows around the tower. I'm gonna say the one that you fly to. Roll me a d8. I think there's 8 windows. See which one you manage to randomly fly up to.
I'm
Sure.
flown up to window number 3.
Yeah, so I'm going to start from the window on the left. So 1, 2, 3 clockwise. So you actually go to the north one, we'll say. So you get a pretty good view of the room, if anything. So you can see that much like the other chambers that you've been in, this one does have a whole bunch of flames in sconces on the wall. In this instance, they are pink flames, kind of flickering away. And you would see an elderly woman sits rigidly on a black throne shrouded in ice. She wears a crown of entwined iron tentacles, and her forehead appears, even from this distance, to be bruised, where the band seems to fit tightly against her skull. An inscription does decorate the wall behind her, and as always, it is written in a language you do not understand.
Gara would just fly back down. So there's an old lady encaged in ice with a crown on her forehead with an inscription behind it. But there's a previously living person up there? Crown strikes me as odd. Seems like it's still hurting her.
I mean, if she's dead, it can't, right? Like, unless Pluzak makes them alive again.
But, wasn't Ivira one of the people in charge of one of the towers?
Is Pluzak furiously searching through his journal right now?
Ivira, you said?
Yeah, I have it in my notes here. High Enchanter Ivira.
Oh,
This-
Enchanter.
this-
yes.
The word
Oh,
on the wall
that's
said
the name you
Ivira.
said. Okay. Yes. I
This
was
is
thinking
this is a
Avira,
tower of
so-
this is a tower of enchantment.
Yep. Thanks. We didn't need the magic, so that was good. Yeah, I agree. I concur. Pluzak's right now down in the book. Pink Tower, Pink Sad Tower, Enchanter.
Droid Tower.
Yeah. Leif, you want to send your echo in?
He like does a thumbs up from both himself and the Echo as the Echo continues to walk up the stairs. He would basically say to the party as the Echo continues up, it changes up here. It's, is this wine? Yeah, this is wine. I've definitely seen enough wine stains in my day. I don't know what it says, but it's not the same. And there's stuff on the walls again. And then, he's just going to continue up the stairs from there, and he goes, so, there's a door before the last room, and, I think it's not wine anymore. I think there's blood on the door. And, it says something else again. Can you send the circle, the orb, up here?
Well, you weren't attacked on any of the floors, so it's probably safe for everybody else.
Okay, so Mace, I guess, will walk in at that point and look at
Blaine?
Valine and just be like, I'll protect you if you're so scared. Let's go up so that he can translate. And she'll just kind of rely on him for cover, and he will, raise his shield, guide her up the stairs. And as she arrives on the second floor, Professor Scant would basically communicate to you guys, oh, this one says, I am Avira. Avira is my name. Odd. Don't know why someone would need to provide themselves with that, I guess, but there's a thing. That is what it says.
Well, considering all the wine bottles. Drunken stupor. I've
Maybe.
seen worse.
Definitely possible. Definitely. You said there was one more, and you guys would all go up to the door that Leif was talking about, and It would be open. He would have opened it, and it definitely leads up the stairs to the room Kara saw before. But above the door, much as he said, appearing to be painted in blood, there is a final line that says, "The crown knows all." Which crown? What does it know? I wonder.
The crown knows all.
Yep, absolutely. And at that point, you all would walk into the room, and much as Kara saw, you would all notice an elderly woman sits rigidly on a black throne, shrouded in ice. She wears, these bands of entwined iron tentacles on her forehead that seems to be bruising her, and an inscription is on the wall behind her. I guess being as he's in Valine's hand, it would be pretty readily available for Professor Scant to see the message and tell you, another one. Fourth coax a secret from another. And I will copy paste that for you.
Yeah, thanks.
And at that point, you're already kind of in the room, but you all can start putting yourselves, at the top of the stairs.
Kara will just
So
latch onto the window.
So technically it's Echo Leif in the room, not actual Leif. He's down at the bottom, still Echo avataring.
Nobody tells him.
Mace and... Oh, I'm on the wrong screen as well.
Then in that case, I will go back down to the ground floor and...
Valine.
You're not gonna bust through the wall?
Well, if actual Leif is down there in avatar form, basically, I'm gonna just watch over him.
Okay, that's fair. Pluzak, did you go with them? Yeah, okay, wasn't sure. Okay then. So yeah, Pluzak, you're with them. Anything you want to do specifically before I have NPCs potentially?
Is the fourth phrase on the ceiling?
It's on the wall behind.
Or it's on the wall behind her.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the room is pretty empty. Just her sitting.
That's it.
Encased in ice.
For the most part. Let me see. Yeah, this room is relatively barren. The only real things of interest or import seem to be, her throne and her. Pluzak actually, just give me a free medicine check. I feel like with who you are as a character. Yeah, that's what I figured it was a proficiency for you. So even from a distance, you can tell her skin looks alive still. Like, definitely frozen. Definitely not capable of moving right now, but you believe very likely the tissues of her body are still alive, and so you would think maybe she is too.
I know I'm gonna regret this. Leif, can you please try to communicate with her?
So Leif would, at that point, I guess, dissipate the echo, and walk up himself, because he would have to be within 30 feet of her to do that. Probably could have just removed the dot. I wasn't really thinking.
Make sure you remind her of who she is.
So he'll walk a little forward, and he will attempt to communicate with her. Let me see. I need to check the wording on something. Un momento. You. Okay. So, he would connect with her mind and be able to tell there is indeed consciousness there, due to the fact that he can feel like he's, communicating with something. However, it would seem, with the state that this body is in, while it might be possible that she is receiving his attempts at communication, she is unable to communicate back. He doesn't seem to be receiving any response back.
Mm-hmm.
And he would, of course, tell you all that. I mean, that's pretty fair.
don't know, boys. You pretty sure she's in there. Not like the statue.
Yes, Leif would definitely agree. Very different from the statue.
Oh, you like fish?
How did you know what he was thinking? The next question was, you game to sleep with me, but, no response. Like usual. I think Mace would at least venture to say, what was that it said about a crown below? Did she mean the thing on her head?
Yeah. There's also a spell you can cast that puts a crown on someone's head that makes them go crazy. And all work and no play, blah blah blah. I am Indra. I am Vera. Ivera. My name is Ivera, right?
Right.
Sounds pretty crazy to me. And I think, if I remember correctly, it's an enchantment spell, which makes sense because this is an enchantment tower. So it could be a spell that's cast on her and then got entombed in ice somehow. Because if I remember correctly too, there's a spell you can entomb yourself in ice.
Mace would say, and this is Pluzak talking out loud.
Yeah.
So Mace would at least point out, though, okay. Never mind, dogs. Give me a sec. Let them run upstairs. I think Mace would point out to you, well, keep in mind, though, that she was high enchantress, right? So I don't know that she would have been using magic that's conjuration related. Talking specifically about the ice thing. So maybe someone else did it to her? I don't.
Kara from down the tower. Maybe she accidentally cursed an item.
If anything, Leif is just like, yeah, that happens. Maybe that is it.
I mean, that's the biggest problem here. Like, did somebody turn the other person into a statue, right? Did somebody turn this one into a block of ice because they had the crown of madness or something on them? Valim, can you detect magic on the ice or body?
She can. Yeah, she can still cast that, absolutely. Let me go to her sheet quick. And her spells. So she should have, let's see, detect magic. I think I'm at the right number. Yeah, okay. So she could definitely use another one. And that puts her at that. But she will cast detect magic. So, she would definitely see an aura coming from the corpse. It would not be the corpse itself, of course, but the crown. I would say, to give you a better idea of what is occurring, though, because, spending the spell slot, definitely worth the info. The ice does seem to have a magical shimmer to it that is of the same color as the crown. There is a large degree to which she believes it is related, but it seems that whatever this effect is due to the enchantment upon the crown, not from an external spell. And it is, of course, an enchantment magic that is on it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess we can try to break her out of the ice. And
I mean, do we need her? We came here for the passphrase, right? Or the thing that we got off the wall. What do we need her for?
I mean, if she's a high enchantress, a high spellcaster. Probably would want the city back. Probably would want to kill whoever's in charge now.
Or us for being in her tower.
Or us, that helped Freya.
Yeah, Green's there was great. Or us, yeah.
Is there any metal on her body or the throne?
The crown. The throne, I think, is stone.
Okay. I mean, I could literally kill her and defrost her at the same time.
Heat metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So I actually don't see. I don't see what material the stone is made, or the throne is made out of. It just says it's a black throne. I mean, I think realistically, the only thing that stands out to you, obviously, as metal is the headband.
So is she encased in ice, or is she just
So
like
it's more
sitting...
like, you remember when you found Nass's corpse out in Aural's Island? How she was kind of a desiccated corpse that had just frozen over from being exposed to the blizzard?
Mm-hmm.
It's that, just kind of in this room.
All
Maybe
right, so
not
she's,
as much snow, but it is like a frozen corpse essentially.
she's frostburned, not an icicle.
Yeah, I mean it's been sitting here long enough that there is like a buildup of ice, but it's not like she's in a block. Like it's not like you'd have to burn through a foot of ice. Her skin basically is just frost ridden, frosted over.
Okay.
More than frostbite, not enough to be an ice cube. Yeah.
She's got freezer burn.
Yeah, pretty severe, but yeah.
And
Question
you
is,
guys
do I
are
do heat metal?
you guys are up there to deal with it, but the more time we spend here, the more my brain says that if we don't absolutely need it or need to interact with it, we shouldn't.
Yeah, but what if we could use this crown to put on Auril, and if it's cursed, and make it do its thing?
We both know that most times you touch a cursed item, it's not a choice. If you touch it, you're fucked.
What? No, I mean,
As the
listen,
person who's encountered and interacted with the
If-
most curses in this campaign,
if
how do you feel about it?
if she's sitting on the throne with it, I doubt somebody like it had to get there to that point at some point, right?
Look, all I'm saying is, you pick up that one cursed item and all of a sudden it's telling you to put it on and you feel compelled to do it, and then it's telling you to strangle your friends, and then you do that, and then it's like draw your name in blood on the wall, and then you do that, and just saying. Little girls with big knives.
That was a perfect use of that. Little girls
I'm
can
gonna
have big
cast-
knives. That is correct, Kara.
I'm gonna cast. Where is it?
Oh my god.
Do I not have it? Where'd it go?
That one tickled me something fierce, Chris. That was good.
Why did
I'm gonna
you kick her off?
cast Vicious Mockery.
Not drop kicking a little girl, Sakura.
Yeah.
Vicious mockery, huh? Let's do it. What
Yeah.
are we saying? What are we mocking
I'm
her
gonna
with?
say, why don't you? How dumb are you to put a crown of madness on your own head? That's
So
Bluzak.
Bluzak, you want the good news?
Is there good news? She failed?
She has to auto-fail due to her state, so...
Oh
it
man, so I'm
lands!
I'm
Bluzak
fucking
is
just beating
vicious
on her.
mockery in this bitch. Literally insulting a vegetable. Does that make you feel, buddy?
Feels pretty
Well,
bad.
if she is alive and you just killed her, there's a free soul.
I mean, how much damage does it do? Roll the damage.
How Look this up now. Vicious Mockery, Legacy,
And I need to look up an Archmage's hit points.
2d4. Alright.
You're gonna max roll this just because it's circumstantially correct.
Close.
Yeah.
5
really.
damage.
Okay, so
5 psychic damage. And they have disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of
nice.
its next turn.
She ain't fucking attacking you at all, I should say. She's gonna be disadvantaged. That shit. What's Sarah rolling here? Vicious Mockery, her saying on the door. Yeah. Interesting. That's why we need you to be here as a bard. That's your bread and butter, right? So this thing's got about that many. Even if I presume it's that. Yeah, I don't think 5 is going to be enough to finish it off.
Do I see any inclination of pain or suffering?
No, but I am going to carry over from your medicine check earlier. Now that you have caused her to do something that you would expect that, much like when a doctor kind of tests your reflexes, you're looking for certain responses to this damage, you would kind of notice she seems to almost be under the effect of the stunned. What's the word I'm looking for? Condition. Thank you, yes. So you would believe very likely that she is both stunned and, by nature of that, incapacitated. So, at least at a minimum, would understand that level of...
3 XP, boys!
If you want. Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, no, that's
too bad
so
I'm not up
bad.
there to do anything.
You'd still get it as a party.
Just throw your spear through the window. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just participate.
So that's probably why Leif couldn't communicate with it, because it's like unconscious or incapacitated.
Right. Not that he couldn't communicate to her,
Or
but
it couldn't
definitely that.
communicate
Yeah,
back.
exactly. It's just you're correct. That's all I'm saying. You're absolutely spot on.
Oh, man. Now I don't really want to let her go, because then she'll be pissed at me for hurting her. But it was really the only way for me to determine that she could still potentially be alive. So I guess the next question becomes, do I cast freedom of movement? Wait. For the duration.
Do you want to roll it so that
It doesn't remove spell. It doesn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was about to say, just make sure that my interpretation and your expectation match up, sort of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't remove.
Movement is unaffected by difficult terrain. Spells and other magical effects can neither reduce the target's speed nor cause the target to be paralyzed or restrained. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm kind of the same on exactly what Sarah said, where because it only calls out paralyzed or restrained and the target is truly incapacitated, it's not like they'd be able to move anyway. Yeah, I don't think it would do what you're looking for in this instance. I think you would know that as well, just by nature of Pluzak knowing the condition, the status effect.
So then the other question, yeah, she said she couldn't hear. So,
yeah, just disappeared.
The other question
Welcome
would
back.
be Mace. Can't you cure conditions?
You're correct. His lay on hands has some level of doing that, right?
Actually, if we're gonna go with that regard, I think even Kara might technically be able to do something about that. I gotta double check the wording on that.
Sure. What are you thinking?
Lesser restoration does
Blessed
it.
touch
I
can
think.
heal wounds. Pool of healing power. Hit points equal to your paladin level times 5.
Cure disease,
Take a
neutralize
walk.
a poison.
I think the problem is I don't believe he has any of his lay on hands anymore, because I'm pretty sure he healed himself with them before one of the shortest.
You
But
touch
I
one
still need to
creature,
look at...
either ending a disease or a condition afflicting it. Condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or
Yeah.
poisoned.
I don't know that's kind of the same thing, I think.
And my healing hands is only restorative to hit points. It doesn't actually do anything else.
Yeah, this is disease or poison as well, so nothing about magical effects. So, good question, but I don't think lay on hands would work in this instance either. So Mace would probably be able to inform you of that.
Mm-hmm. Mand is not going to help. Control water's not going to help. Dispel magic might.
Do you have detect thoughts?
So Leif technically can
No.
do that with his slug. He has the ability to try and delve deeper into someone's mind.
Then maybe see if he can make a mental connection and see if she's even thinking anything. Because you've hit her with a spell and she hasn't reacted.
Yeah. I mean,
so
I think
like
that's an
if
interesting point.
if you try to make a mental contact with her, she's gonna look at you like, you dick, what the fuck are you doing? Like there's got to be something going on between the ears.
So we detect thoughts at spell save 13. I think with this,
Does she fail automatically?
I think that she might. I gotta look again. Especially with how incapacitated she is, I think I'm just gonna have her fail. Especially because technically this doesn't have charges for Leif, so he can just sit here until she fails, essentially.
That ain't broken as fuck. I'm down.
Yeah, it just takes his action, so he would just have to do it again and again every turn, I think. But I don't see charges on here. Oh, there is a charge, but it's for. He can actually even go further and try and cast suggestion with it if he wants, one time a day. That's the only thing that has charges. Yeah, detect thoughts is at will. So, yeah, he just sits there until eventually he connects with her. Then detect thoughts, I think technically just gives him surface level thoughts. I gotta look that up quick.
Yeah, I think so.
Game rules.
And Sarah,
spells.
I don't think you can damage somebody awake because this person is like stunned.
I think you can from unconscious, but stunned
Yeah,
and incapacitated you can't. It's like a very specific status that you can be awoken from like that. Yeah. All right. So for the duration,
Well, killer,
Leif can do
looter,
this.
or move on.
Okay. Interesting. So I'm gonna say Leif recognizes he is attuned with her mind. And he tells you, Pluzak, man, there's like less going on up there than in my head. It just seems to keep repeating, destroy the crown, release my memories, let me have peace. Like it's some sort of mantra.
Destroy crown. Release my memories. Let me have peace. Okay. It's probably gonna hurt her. But it might destroy the crown.
If it's magical, don't we have to take it to the anvil?
To the anvil and mace? Not this mace. The mace in the tower?
The mace that's next to you, though, does like give you like a furtive furtive gaze of like, ooh, I get to break something else.
Yeah. Jesus. All right, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Heat metal on the crown.
Yep.
Okay.
23.
23 damage.
Yep.
So she definitely can't drop it. She's gonna have to take the full damage. You
Isn't there a
did.
thing like disenchant that you could have done on the crown?
I have Dispel Magic, but I don't think it's going to work. I would get one shot at it.
Okay. So, I mean, your spell definitely heats it up, and she cannot drop the crown. She's going to take the full damage, so that was, what'd you say, 26?
Pop it up at 23.
23. Okay.
Is the crown unthawed enough to take it off her head?
It is. You actually probably would have thought that, you know, there's the amount of frost that's on her body, you probably could have broken it free by hand, but it definitely would be easy enough to raise now without any resistance.
Okay. And, I say, Mace, you want to, like, sit on her or something while I take the crown off her head?
Mace looks at you with an eyebrow raised, but otherwise will walk over, and he will just stand next to her and take and push his shield down onto her body so that he basically has her grappled under his shield.
Okay. And I'll come around the backside and take the crown off and toss it out the window.
Okay, Pluzak. I need a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm.
Okay, yep. So you grab the crown, you walk it over to the window, and you drop it out the window.
Okay. We did it, boys. Felt something, but we did it.
I love to say, by the way, one of my favorite things about D&D is always just you built up for like 30 minutes on what to do with this crown, and it just comes down to a roll of like, what you gonna do? It's so
Just-
fun.
Woo! Out like the window like a frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
Lands on some random cold walker somewhere.
Oh God, you're just gonna find another frozen statue at some point. All right. But yeah, it's out the window. Kara, you would have watched it, I guess, fall to the ground, a fair distance away, but not far enough that you didn't see where it landed.
Kara watching as it flies out into the distance and lands
Kara's
in a
like,
pile
"Ooh."
of snow.
Ooh, piece of candy. Let me grab that.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, it's gone now. So Pluzak, as soon as it comes off her head, you would also notice the corpse of Avira, or not corpse, I should say the desiccated body of Avira, shudders as she takes her first breath in ages, and the ice that seems to, cling to her skin, kind of cracks and falls off of her as her form begins to move. However, with the crown gone, her body also begins to rapidly deteriorate as centuries begin to take their toll. Avira has only a few seconds, her eyes locking with Mace, who holds her down, and she mutters the same thing that Leif heard in her mind. Destroy the crown. Release my memories. Let me have peace. With that, she will turn to dust and slowly decay away into nothing.
All right. Can I check out the room to see if there's anything else in here?
Absolutely. Give me an investigation roll.
Okay.
Fucking lady just Raiders of the Lost arced into nothing, and we're just like, yeah, whatever.
With a 21, you would know for certain the only thing of interest in this room was that crown. The crown and the scripture on the wall, of course, but in terms of items, there's really nothing here. Yeah.
Okay. Pluzak just thinks out loud for a second. I wonder what happens if we put the crown on top of the orb of Professor Scant.
Just to point this out, because I thought of it and was really wondering if either of you would. Leif, when he hears you say that, goes, I wonder what would have happened if I put it on my Echo.
Oh, man.
So it's at this
Kara's
point, just because, Blake's not here
Kara's
to
looking
advocate.
down at him when he says this, like, no.
Manifest Echo. The Echo is magical, translucent, and let me see, where is it? If it has to make a saving throw, it uses your saving bonus, and there's something about it can't have immunity to all conditions. There it is. It has immunity to all conditions. So there's a potential that if the crown did add status effects, the echo might not be affected, right? So,
could you physically place it on the echo though?
I think that becomes the only question. Yeah. I mean, the echo can technically take damage, and it occupies a space, so.
Dummy.
Yeah.
Couldn't really hear
Like a
that.
test dummy for you.
Oh. Yeah,
Oh,
test
yeah.
dummy.
I mean, that's basically
Shadow
you guys
Wave
have been
has
using it for traps,
literally
right?
been just
So-
like send it forward and let it take the brunt of things.
I will
So
say
I'm gonna
though,
go back.
I guess technically. Yeah, I don't
And
know.
since
I mean, it would.
Leif's not here, we're going to do it and say show up for sessions next time.
Yeah. Yeah, Leif, your echo has this cool crown. It walks 30 feet away from him, disappears. Oh, the crown still exists. You want to go grab it yourself? You got to put it on the next echo. You wanted to know how to fuck with them. There's your opportunity.
Yeah, this is.
Do you really want a mad lace on your hands though? Like that.
It's a frozen
Mad.
leaf, as
So
far as they're
awkward.
aware.
So, judging by what Ivira said before she dusted, the crown is stealing memories?
Yeah. Or yeah, not letting them have them, or something.
Well, and actually, much to that point, do you guys have written down the 3 phrases that you came across?
yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What was that third one again?
The crown knows all.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with my theory of the crown is stealing
How do you get the memories out of the crown?
Didn't she tell you?
destroy the crown, and we
Yeah, but-
happen to know the location of an anvil that shatters magic items.
Yeah, but does that tell us the memories that are within the crown, or does that just allow her to have her memories back?
It's a good question. Who knows, man? Maybe there's a way to find out.
She's dead. She ain't getting nothing back.
You get nothing
she
out of
has
that
a soul.
bitch.
She has a soul. Don't.
Not anymore. It's dissipated.
You
You
know?
didn't grab it while there was time.
You know.
You don't know if souls retain memories.
Yeah.
That's a great point. What if you had trapped her soul and then she's just sitting there like, I don't remember shit. I told you to destroy the crown. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. So the big question is, do we then go back to the anvil now, or do we continue on and when we get back to the anvil, we destroy it? Right. That's the problem. Right.
I
do,
mean-
do we?
I mean, you have
we
to go
also-
get it again.
We
If-
also need to find it because you
Yep.
flung it out a window.
That's fine.
Kara knows roughly where it is at least, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. But like the that's why it's important if the memories get released and whoever destroys it gets the memories, right? If something magical like that happens, then I would say we go back now. If the memories just get released and all the memories that it had held and controlled from all the people that it cursed, then and it goes back to those people, then well they can wait another day until we get around to the tower, as long as we don't die.
There's also the idea that whoever puts on the crown next, and then if like there's like a dispel magic kind of situation going on, do all the memories go to that current host?
These are all fantastic questions. I feel very bad that I can answer none of them.
Or
Well, here's the thing. If you had failed your check before you tossed it out the window, what was stopping you from immediately putting it on?
here's a better thing. We
Alright,
could
fine.
use it as a weapon to defeat our enemy by putting
Okay,
it on
but-
their head.
We still have to hold it. Like, I guess I could telekinetically float it around with us.
Y'all really need a bard. Y'all need mage hand in this biz.
We do. We definitely do. If the other thing here, I mean, we technically could have a bard or mage hands with the echo, right? If the echo can just pick it up and carry it for us, then
I could also just telekinetically loft it and have it float around with us.
But like,
Well, I think does your telekinesis? I think it just summons something to your hand. Eventually, it would touch you.
Just let me double check the
Yeah,
wording
I
on it
don't
because
think
we've been using it to. I've been using it to keep weapons floating in place.
Yeah, that's kind of fair. I've been pretty free on that, but I might not let you use it to solve this problem in that instance, because technically the way I believe it was intentioned was just to kind of allow you to pull free weapons to your hand.
Okay,
I
then
actually even think it specifies weapons in the description, if you look.
I
you
mean,
are
anything could be a
correct.
weapon if you're big
It
enough.
does.
That is true, Fred. Just like anything could be a dildo if you're courageous enough, but I don't think that's what
Yep.
we're talking about.
Okay, well, you gotta put it out there.
All
See
right.
what
Well,
happens.
then
So-
my idea, by the literal wording of my ability, my idea is shot. So it's either Echo Lape is just constantly traipsing around with a cursed.
Or Pluzak. Well, because here's the thing: if you touch it once, does it require you to re-roll every single time
Okay. Here's what
you
we're gonna
touch
do.
it, right?
I'm gonna be really, really free with you guys here. Kara saw where the crown landed. If you guys wish to test any of this, we can do it tonight. I'll just let you go to the crown free. If we wait till next time because you guys want to like have other people's input, we'll have you go get the crown. So I'm going to ask, do you want to go get it now and try any of this stuff, or do you think it'd be better to wait a week and like start thinking about some of this? Maybe ask the other two when they're back, and try and have their input.
Fuck it, try Shadow Lape.
Yeah, we should
Shadow
definitely
Lape.
try Echo Leaf.
Okay. All right. So we'll say you guys go get the crown. So Leif will summon up one of his echoes, and the echo will walk over and he'll grab the crown. Technically, it still has to make the wisdom saving throw because the echo.
I am going to point out.
Makes the saves
I am
on
going to
that.
point out if Echo Lape tries to put the crown on actual Lape, I'm punting Echo Lape.
Okay.
Well, he could
As
just
you should.
instantly make it disappear.
Actually, let me also ask this question. Are you having Leif command his echo to do this in terms of it is one of his normal echoes that has to maintain within 30 feet of him? Or are you having him do his echo avatar where he can send it further away and kind of like so you keep more of a distance?
The first option.
Okay. So he's going to still be closer to it then. Okay. So wisdom save. So
That makes
Echo
me worry
Leif
that this is a proximity issue.
is going to most certainly fail. In the instance of it failing in this condition, it will pick the crown up, look at you all, and immediately place the crown upon its head. And nothing further necessarily seems to happen just yet.
Well, Shadow Lape is the keeper of the crown.
That Shadow Lape is the keeper of the crown.
I like how you know.
So here's the problem though. Can we dispel that Echo Leaf, spawn an Echo Leaf until it succeeds on the saving throw, and then have it put it back down and pick it back up to see if it has to make another saving throw, or if it's just a one saving throw and you're good for like 24 hours, right?
Well, if that's the case, then you were successful. So if it's the 24-hour thing, you can just go pick it up.
Well,
If-
so if that one
but-
failed, why
but if I fail,
try to have it take it off? Like, how
Well,
do we know
you
that's
don't
actually
need
going to fail or not?
you don't have to try to have it take it off, right? You just dispel the Echo, and it automatically
Well,
drops to
yes,
the
but
ground.
you could test it. Like, if
Yeah,
you tell him to take it off and he can't do it,
Yeah, I'm kind of with Sarah on this
then you
one.
know it's stuck.
There's a level to which you can ask the echo at this point to interact with the crown in ways that a normal person would be able to, right? That will teach you about what maybe it is doing or how it affects things. And then you can always potentially dismiss it, to your point, Fred, if you need it to drop the crown. But I would say that there's definitely both of those courses of action hold weight, right? They're mutually exclusive in a sense.
All right. Then we ask the Echo to see if it can remove the crown.
Okay, so then Leif will do that, and its hands would go up to the crown, and no matter how hard it pushes, no matter what way it pulls, no matter how much it spins the thing around its head, it is unable to remove it.
Okay, so fail the save, and you cannot physically remove the crown, but it can be removed by another person because Pluzak clearly removed it from Ivira.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that we know, like, Shadow Leaf might not be controlled in some kind of aspect because it was able to listen to a command, right?
It had to have been able to, yeah, in that instance.
So then do we want to try to...
I'm gonna ask Leif if he feels any different while the clone is affected by this.
Leif just shakes his head no, but I do think Leif would ask, like,
Still wants
but
his 3 Fs?
that's not how that works. Like, I can't feel anything from them unless I do the thing where I put my brain in them.
Yeah, don't do that.
I
Not
mean,
while it's wearing the crown.
we could figure out what it's feeling.
I feel like that's a player decision and not one we could force upon him.
Okay, that's fair, and that's always something realistically you could ask him if he wants to try next session, right? Once he's there to potentially do that. Yeah.
So we don't want to see if we can do... If you succeed a saving throw, you're good for so long?
I mean, you
Because
could.
that could help
That would
us.
be the nature of what you would have the echo disappear and see if Pluzak can pick it up.
No way, because if it gets stuck on my head, then we're fucked. If I fail. Right? If we have to roll again, right?
But then somebody else can technically take it off of you, right?
Well, no one's tried that on the
Leaf,
echo yet, right?
Maybe, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's because the risk of it could, like, somebody might have to do the throw again. So,
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, Pluzak would be the safest option if we're going by,
the
like,
echo.
once
The
you
echo would
pass
be.
it.
So
To
the echo
remove
would
it?
be because so what you would do is you would dispel this echo, you'd spawn another echo,
Oh, it's what you were
until-
talking about before.
right, until it actually saves. Once it saves the saving throw, then you would tell the echo to take it off and see if it could still take it off or not. If it can, then it puts it on the ground and then picks it back up and sees if it has to make the saving throw again.
So
Okay.
do you want to keep dispelling and
How many
redoing
times
echoes?
can,
I mean, you
how
can. It's just time.
How many times can he actually do that? Like, is there a
It's
limit on how many
infinite.
times?
No, it's infinite. It just
Oh,
takes a
then-
bonus action to summon it, and then it takes another bonus action to dismiss it. So it would be
Then,
Y'all are
two
about
turns
to
every
kill a whole
time.
lot of
It
echoes.
literally just creates an extra time
look,
gap essentially.
Sarah,
Yeah.
those echoes have died for less.
There's a whole fraternity house, okay, that is just filled with dead echoes. They have to have like a pool hall worth of tables to keep them all entertained.
Like, there's like echoes 1 through 30 that died valiant deaths. There's echoes 31 through 42, which were just like, I summoned a drinking buddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have like an Echoes Anonymous club for the ones that died the worst deaths to go and support each other.
Like, there's a club of echoes that specifically where I got this from Kara.
Yeah, there's ones where the Mallow crew too.
Oh god. Like, we're in the triple digits for echoes at this point.
Leif is starting
Pretty
to summon them
sure-
with fucking serial codes to keep track.
I'm pretty sure he summoned some echoes for sexcapades as well.
All you know is you have found him and an Echo cuddling on more than one occasion.
I could never play the Shadow Fighter just because, like, or the Echo Knight, just because, like, all the fun stuff's already been done. I'd just be
Yeah,
copying
Leif
them at
has
that point.
taken most of the good stuff. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Why do you think I changed the one I did to actually be like twins with a twist, so that I could actually do different character stuff? Because I agree with you. He's done a good job. He's really explored the depths of the creativity of Echo Knight.
Yeah.
Regardless,
But, I mean,
do you
honestly,
want to do
the-
the test now? I think is the question.
I think that's going to be the last thing we end up doing for tonight if we're only doing the one tower. So,
Yeah.
might as well run the gambit and see if we can
Okay.
get a success on an Echo.
All right, so I'm just gonna do this, because I'm curious to see how many it takes. Let's see how many echoes we have to lose before we get a save.
Oh my god.
That's
and
4
let me-
total.
Let me check this. Hold on. I think it's up
Can
there.
I give him
Yeah, not
guidance?
quite. You can give him guidance. Yeah, of course.
So a D4
Recast it
to
on every Echo.
anything
yeah,
that
absolutely.
would...
Well, so there's only one that might be able to be possible with a D4. So let me see if he can manage it on that one. Nope, not quite. So more wisdom saves. Nope, nope. I think that's doable on a D4. Hey, okay. So we lost four. What was it?
We lost
One,
6.
two, 4 echoes, 5 echoes, 6 echoes, 7 echoes. I'm
The
at
7th, lucky number 7.
7 wisdom saves. Yeah, so lucky number 7. Absolutely. So you guys take just another minute or two to keep summoning echoes and popping them away as they keep putting the crown on their head the second that they touch it, until finally one comes in. It grabs up the crown and it just kind of stares at it, a little confused why you guys had him come in and grab a circlet of metal off the ground.
He didn't immediately put it on his head. Okay. We ask him to drop it and pick it back up.
He lets go of it. It clatters to the ground, reaches down, grabs it, picks it back up.
All right. Fred, you were correct. There's a 24-hour grace period once you succeed.
So,
Can you hand it to me?
yeah, I was going to say, not only can he hand it to you, Leif actually is already kind of thinking like, oh, we were talking about that immunity thing, and he throws it at you like a frisbee as a joke.
I go to like put it, like catch it on my head, but then I grab it.
As soon as he sees you going to catch it on your head, he actually realizes what he's done. He's like, oh! But then you catch it, and he's all, okay, oh, dude, oh. I mean, listen, I was teasing. That's
It lands on a shroom on my back. and now
your
the
shroom just
isn't
suddenly
like-
gets stunned. Yeah,
The shroom immediately just like gets stoned and falls off.
the crown shrinks down to its size because it's magical, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like the One Ring.
oh, I guess that solves it too.
Oh man.
All right, so you grab it.
Yeah, so I guess at this point, Pluzak,
Slide
do you
this
want to
crown
be
up
the
back,
master of the crown? Hold on to it.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
So we're assuming it's a 24 count. We got to keep track of the time until that goes up, because if you're holding it past that time, you might be fucked.
So you can either call it Avira's crown or the cursed crown, whatever works for you, and I'll let you note that you have it in your inventory. And then, much to that point, I think that's where we will call it tonight.
I do suggest we still go to the anvil and hammer
You want to do that first?
next session.
Yeah, I think we'll ask the other two when we fill them in. What they think. I'd guess that Mace is probably fine with going and destroying, and Leif is usually pretty good for anywhere that might involve a fight. So that would be my guess.
So we make our way back to the anvil on the next one, as opposed to continuing the circle. But it feels like
likely.
there's more on that side of the thing anyway. So
Yeah, it's likely you'll head that way. Again, I think we should ask the other two their opinion as well when they get back here. But absolutely.
fun.
Yeah, fun indeed. That was actually, I really enjoyed that session with you guys, because I do find that, like, I feel like Claw is a very deep thinker as a player, but Mace as a character doesn't have as many options as he would like. But, like, you two tend to be the ones that are like, okay, let's figure this out. So I was very curious to see what you were going to do at this tower trying to figure out the crown, right? So
Era's just whittling down at the bottom of the tower, just...
Sure. But even then, as a player, you still, I think,
I know.
offered a lot of good insight and ideas and things. I always just love hearing you guys converse. It's like I said, you were asking so many great questions tonight, and I'm sitting here going, I can't say anything.
Well, and here's the thing: if everybody else was here, I wouldn't have spent that much time on this.
Well, I think
Right.
Yeah, that's
the group,
fair.
The group probably would have as a whole, though. I feel like it would have been more dispersed.
I'm not
hopefully,
sure.
but I think
I
think
don't
Claw
know,
would have had
because-
ideas at least. But yeah,
We would have had thoughts, but I think that we would have said, listen, we tried to bypass the last fight as much as we could because we're all pretty hurt and we're only halfway through the day, so we're not having a long rest anytime soon.
Mhm.
We're in this tower. We got the message, right? So we don't really need to
What I said,
do
pretty
anything
much.
else,
Yeah,
right?
either
We can
that-
just leave,
Yeah.
right? So
I
I
am
think
wondering, though-
ultimately we would have left.
do you think that Blake might have just Leroy Jenkins it though with an echo?
He
I
might have
That's
feel
what
tried
I
to
think
take one
would
with
have
an
happened.
echo.
Uh,
Absolutely feel like he's the type to have maybe just been like, nah, fuck it, my echo goes and grabs the crown.
Yeah, like we're all leaving,
Yeah.
and he's like, my echo grabs it.
Exactly.
Or he just would have tried to kill her. Like one of the two.
It's just
Well,
go
and that-
stab her. Yeah.
And that was the other thing. Like, that's why I cast vicious mockery. Like, do I kill her? Like,
Yeah.
what's
I just had a
what's going
thought.
on here?
I'm carrying around the statue of that other wizard. Well, this one was encased in some kind of magic, and she dusted the second she got undone. Maybe the statue gets undone, that one gets dusted too.
Connections are being made, folks. Look at this.
Can we put the crown on the statue first?
That's actually what I thought you were gonna say. Was
To
we could have just
pull
put
all
the
the
crown on the
memories from
statue.
it.
Yeah, as soon as Pluzak picked it up, he could have just put it on the statue and, and moved
You
Well,
know,
it.
fuck
it's
it.
transmutation, then it is, like Chris had said, it is a statue now. So, I mean, does it technically have memories?
The
It's
statue,
an inanimate
maybe,
object
maybe
that,
not,
that's
but
human shaped that can hold the statue and hold the crown without any of us having to worry about it.
could have been.
That is true. That is true, because it can't do anything to you guys either. So,
I will take out the statue, hold it in front of Pluzak. We can put the crown on its head.
Pluzak, do you want to do some sort of crowning ceremony of this statue?
I don't
pulls out
because I'll-
super glue.
if
fucking
he's
super
holding
glue.
Farts a fanfare.
if he's holding the statue, I'm concerned that the magical power will pass through the statue and into him.
Okay.
Okay, then
Well, I mean,
we don't do that. Then it's either way.
then what about you, though?
Well, what I say is what I would do is I would take the statue out of the bag of holding, put it on the ground. I put the crown on the statue for a moment, and then I take the crown off the statue. And if it did have any memories, all the memories are now in the crown. Hopefully, when we destroy the crown,
We assume
we'll
Oh,
be
it
able
interesting
to
assumption there. Okay, I want to.
get those memories.
Is that Pluzak is actually sharing that plan with the group?
Sure.
Give it a try. Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
So I think that before you do that, though, at a minimum, Mace would probably say, because I feel like Claw is smart enough for this. Hey, guys, just a question. All the things that she was writing on the walls, that kind of makes me feel like she lost her memories over time, not instantly. You know, I am Avira. Avira is me. Almost like trying to remember. And there was a lot of writing on those walls. Just a 2 cents.
I mean, it could just be that the crown was gradually taking memories from her as time went on. But
Okay. So maybe we'll get the last memory of the statue.
What turned her into a statue?
that would make sense.
Interesting. So,
Or
I
the
guess-
longer that you keep it on the statue, the more memories it might hold on to if she still retains anything.
Also an interesting idea, maybe. So I guess at that point, though, Pluzak, the crown is certainly on the statue. Statue goes back in Kara's bag, or
I
You
would take
take
the
it off?
crown off because
Okay.
I don't want the magic to pass through
To Kara?
Kara,
Okay,
and then
cool.
Kara gets fucked.
no, I get you.
Okay.
And I'm not. Oh, yeah. I can't stick in my bag of holding. It's not big enough.
For this circlet, no, I think you'd be okay. Your bag of holding.
No. I mean the statue. I can't.
Oh,
stick the
yes, you
statue
cannot
in
stick
my-
his whole
yeah.
statue in your bag of holding. that's Kara only on that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. All right, well, let me put you guys back on the necropolis quick, and we'll just gather you.
Can I ask one more question?
Of
Is that
course.
okay?
No.
Please, please.
Fred, please.
I'm the DM. What I say goes.
Last question. You already. Session's over.
So, you guys have the statue. We have the circlet. From the other towers that you guys did, were there also items that you guys technically, like signature items that you could have taken from it? Or no?
So far, of the 4, none have had a signature item
Not true.
that could be taken.
Also
Yeah,
not
that's
true.
not. Oh.
Ooh,
You
okay,
could've-
so
you could have
I will
taken
say that.
the hammer from the
Yeah, we could
anvil.
have took the hammer.
Like as far as you're aware, that was a separate item from it. The anvil itself, not
I
absolutely.
thought the anvil was the item, not necessarily the hammer. But
They
either
were
way,
both were covered in enchantments. The same enchantments actually. That was
So-
actually like noted to you guys in the
So
text.
we could test it, right? We can see if the hammer will destroy something off of the anvil, not while we have it on the anvil. If it doesn't destroy it while it's off of the anvil, then we'll know we need the anvil as well. So
Yeah.
it's almost pointless.
Right. It was never tested as all. There was an item you could have
Right.
taken. It just wasn't.
look, I consider everything in this place a fucking monkey's paw of sorts. For all we know, we're gonna pick up the hammer and go to leave, and it's gonna warp the hammer back up to the fucking anvil.
Well, it
Oh,
feels
monkey
almost
spell's a
like
good
a
term, though.
collection quest kind of thing. Like you take something from each of the towers and you bring it back to like a central
So-
location.
we're-
You guys will have to remind me what ones you have. Can you?
We've been
What,
to the
towers?
Abjuration
No,
Tower.
yeah. So no, not like that. I'm more saying the steps that you guys have collected. Which ones do you have so far?
First, shield thy heart with a wand from the nether oak. Fourth, coax a secret from another. Sixth, hide thyself. And eighth, stand firm in thy circle of death and consume poison.
Okay.
So right, we're gonna have to find another oak wand. We're gonna have to find this mask that it talks about. We're gonna have to find poison. I'm assuming, which could be the vial
That we
of
have.
the potion that we have, right? So I didn't really want to say that with Mace, I think, who has it, right?
Yeah.
So like all of
Like,
those things might be in our alphabet towers, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that's where we found the vial of poison. We might find the wand in Tower B or C, and we might
I mean,
find the
I'd put
mask
money
in
on
D
finding.
or...
I'd put money on finding the wand either in the forest or the glass thunderdome.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out. Is there's also locations that might be associated just by nature of how they look, right? You know, trees in the forest for
Yes.
that. But it was just the reason I brought that up was because I do think Sarah made a very potent point there of, you know, you do know there is a level of a collection fest happening. Whether the items that you found in these towers are the correct ones is a different question, but yeah, you know, it's definitely proper to think about. Is there a potential that you guys need to basically be on a scavenger hunt while you're out here? Because that is something that you haven't really been verbalizing. I don't know if you're thinking about it in the background.
We've gone into every area so far, and we've looked for items of importance to take, and our investigations have turned up nothing so
Well, actually,
far. in
I'd
most
say
places.
more than anything, your investigations have actually done pretty decent.
But
I
that's
don't
what
think
I'm
there's
saying.
anything you
Our
guys have
investigations
not
have turned
viewed.
up nothing to take in
Right,
most
okay.
circumstances.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
So and here's the other problem now that I'm thinking about since we're talking about this. The crown could be an item that we need for the summoning.
Never know.
That's a good point.
So how
So
much
if we
do you
go and
want to
destroy it,
sit on that? Yeah,
we could be fucking ourselves.
maybe.
Well, you have it in your bag of holding for now. We are assuming it's on a 24 clock.
So time check now would be what? Maybe 2
24.
p.m.
I'm doing it right now, and I'm making a note of where you grabbed the crown. Okay, so you guys waited an hour to wait out the rock. Put you at about 1 p.m. After the 1 p.m., it was, I'm going to say, about like a 10-minute interval on the random encounter for the mimics. Not for the fight per se, but for the fight plus the studying of them afterwards. We know it was about 7 minutes to Tower Sad. I'm going to just round that up to 10. And it was about 30 minutes real time. Like,
So we're
trying to
currently
figure
at
out the
8
crown.
hours having been in the city. That means we're at
so-
about 2 p.m.
Yeah, well, you're a little shy of 2 p.m. So we'll say you touch the crown at 2 p.m. to round it and make it easy. 2 p.m. day, or actually 1:30, because I think you touched the crown well in the tower. So we'll call it 1:30 p.m. day 79. And by the time that you guys have kind of finished all of this learning about the crown and like reconvening at the bottom of the tower sad, we'll call it a fair 2 p.m. At this specific point. So you've got 23 and a half hours basically.
Yay.
Well, and actually,
Why
there is an
not?
interesting question as well. If the time ticks over while it's inside your bag, that will actually end up answering your question about whether or not like things in your bag like that will affect you while it's sitting there, or will it happen the moment you touch it after 24 hours that you summon it from the bag, right? Like,
Right.
If it doesn't affect you after 24 hours while it's in the bag, you just got to upturn your bag and drop that shit out and get one of the echoes to carry it.
possibly, it's always a
Or
possibility.
who
right?
knows, after touching it, like, since you're a person who touched it, if it like zaps to you of being like time is up and then it attracts to you again or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, because you've already failed it once, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows if
Well,
it's
I mean, it
24
can't
hours.
go to the echo. I mean,
Hopefully
The
we'll
echo's
be
like,
gone.
"Fuck you, it can't. Give me that crown."
Fucking the disembodied echo comes back without being asked and punches out Pluzek to take the crown.
Yikes.
It's like the first, or actually the second one. I think one before has been resummoned by accident, but like, yeah, it's. Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Fucking that'd be the true boss. All the shadow clones come to life and it's like, we have some words.
Yeah.
They all still have 1 hit point, but there's 100 of them.
That's actually the epilogue. Is you guys all meet up for a party, and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is great seeing you after years." All of a sudden, an army of Leifs come running in, chasing after one Leif, and you're just like, "Oh no, what has he done?"
It's like, would you want to like fight 100 like duck-sized horses or one like
Yeah,
horse
horse-sized duck. Yeah, exactly. Would you rather fight one Leif that doesn't die in one hit, or 100 Leifs that do? Oh man, there's a question.
I'd find a fish.
Yeah, exactly.
then
Appease
you
all
wouldn't-
a fish
then you wouldn't
and
have
a
to
couple of loose women, and he's probably pretty happy,
Yeah.
according to his, because they're all fighting each other at that point, so they already have that F fulfilled, right? It's just the others.
Well, we already assumed that they cuddle, so that could be the second F fulfilled.
They do it themselves.
Aw.
Look, you went there. I just carried the thought through.
Oh man. Question becomes: is it masturbation or incest at that point?
Both.
Both.
There's no reason it like can't be mutually
Yeah,
like,
can't-
or shouldn't
can't
be
both.
mutually
Yeah,
exclusive. Like,
exactly.
I
That's
use
fair.
both.
Incesturbation.
But the route you want to go is back to the blue tower. Yeah.
I don't know now because if it's an item that we actually need to fulfill,
Well,
Alright, so I'd point
that's-
it out this way,
that's
right?
the summon.
You guys have managed to cover this much of the map in about 8 hours. So give or take, maybe spend another 8, and you can still search some. And if by then you haven't figured out whether you need it or not, you spend the last 8 making your way back over there before Pluzak gets
well,
crazy.
I mean, at
or
some
whatever.
point we're gonna have to take a long rest, so that's gonna be 8 of the hours
True.
anyway,
That is definitely true.
right? So we really only have. When can we take a long rest again? When's the last
10
time we
p.m.
took one?
10 p.m. is when
Right.
you can do it. Yeah, so
So we
you're
have 6 hours to still mess around
8
and
hours, yeah.
not.
8 hours. So 8 hours and 8 hours. So that's 16. So that would give us, 3 hours to get back to the
Blue Tower.
anvil.
Yep, absolutely. Very true.
So. Oh, I forgot to draw the line up to Tower Crab. Fuck, I swear I missed that one.
Power Crab, yeah. I do love your naming scheme on all these things.
Tower crab?
Yeah, it's up here on
It's-
the north. I don't know how well you can see the screen from where you are.
I'm trying to. Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, and then
And then
there's
there's the finger, which is
Yeah.
next to the forest, so I didn't
Tower.
draw a line to it.
Tower Finger over here.
1, 2, 3.
Anyway, great session tonight, guys.
4, 5,
always love your
6,
creativity.
7, 8.
And you have officially seen your first encounter between Aural's minions and some of the troops in the city. I will tell you the reason that they were there was because that was the bird had been in that area, so those were kind of like residual troops that were moving through. That was my intention. Also, you skipped an encounter with 1 mimic to do an encounter with 3, which I thought was funny.
Nice.
Where did we skip the 1?
When you waited from 12 to 1 p.m.,
Ah.
there was a random encounter I rolled for that one. That was a single mimic. But that's in the past, so that roll's gone. Everything is new rolls going forward for random encounters. And then you stepped into a random encounter that was that one. So, but to be fair, if it had been 3 Cold Light Walkers against 1 mimic instead of all 3 of those, they probably would have wiped the floor with that thing, and then you would have had a much tougher fight. So, oh, and actually,
Yeah, that's
speaking
true.
of,
Experience.
yes, I did do the experience calculation, but I was doing it just for the things that you fought, not for everything on map. So you guys get
Makes sense.
yeah. 720, and I will add that for Leif and Mace.
I mean, I did fight a master enchantment wizard.
Yeah, yeah. You want
his
the
own
XP for
words-
dusting her?
And his own words were that we share the party experience, so.
No, sadly, I think I'm just gonna give you all the 720 tonight. But I can
I'll
tell
take
you,
1. I don't fucking care.
I can tell you, depending on how much you guys do next session, there could be a pretty big XP fight Depends on where you go and how much time is spent and all that good jazz. So.
Was it okay that I started talking
Oh, of
at
course.
the end of that?
If anything, it's better because, like I said, you were pointing out very good points, and we didn't have the full group's opinion tonight. So having those other perspectives, in my mind, was actually really good.
Look, Fred and I can bounce ideas the entire night and still not come to a conclusion.
Right?
We're both,
Having some level of other input that might point something out that breaks the stalemate
and
is
it's,
like,
and
yes,
it's not
yes,
that we're
please.
not trying to agree with the other one. It's just like, well, here are the options to this, but there are the options to this.
Yeah.
This might happen here. This might happen
There's a
here.
lot that could happen.
Well, especially with both of you being
not.
like DMs as well, where you're sitting there like, we understand all the potential scenarios that could be here. So what if we're not careful enough? What if there's this thing that could happen? What if that could happen?
Well, like I just said, what if we smash the crown and it's needed to
Exactly,
to
dude.
be getting
That's
the
a
center
great point.
spider.
You never know.
Now I'm not sure I want to go back there first. With the pieces that we have, right? We know we need to get a wand. We know we need to get a mask. We know we need a poison, right? And we haven't seen anything but potentially a poison.
I mean, we could always just get some vile-looking liquid that counts as poison and have Mace drink it because he's a Warforged, so he's immune to poison.
well, we wouldn't want to waste it unless that tower reproduces more poison.
Great questions.
Like
Again.
if things are like refreshing, like fully.
Sucks to be you guys. That's all I'm hearing from Rick.
I can't answer. Well, be. That's how it goes. I'm really curious to see where you take those ideas.
We got to get the rest of the clues to figure out this
Yeah.
entry pass.
Right.
So
I
we
mean,
have to go to the
what's
Red
the
Tower.
secret? That's gonna be interesting.
No, that's not that hard at all.
Oh.
Eric's just gonna look at Pluzak and go, "What's the vessel?"
What's the vessel?
Yeah, what the vessel for your soul? What is it?
Well, it could be a specific kind of secret that they need. Or
If
something
it
like
doesn't,
that.
if it says a secret, it could be anything big or small.
Well, in a weird way, it's like you could think of the towers
What's
as
your gender,
answering each
Pluzak?
other's words.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we know.
Zach,
We
do
know
you
that.
actually have a lover back home? Are you doing all this feudally? You don't actually have anyone to have kids with. You just like hoping.
You're Zoidberg. You're really Zoidberg, aren't you?
You've been a crustacean this whole time.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But it's one along. Just you've been very secretive about what that thing is, and I know you've mentioned what it was called. I just have the memory of a
You're
goldfish
talking
on
about
that.
this Carassus.
Correct.
The
Yeah.
Karas. You've mentioned what it is a couple times, or that you have one a couple times, but you've been secretive about what it actually is. If we need to coax out a secret, we have one at our disposal.
Everyone knows Pluzak has a secret to tell. They just don't know what it is.
Exactly.
Where's Ravnus when you need him? He had all the secrets.
Oh God, yeah.
But
And I've
that's
been
the
pretty
thing,
open with
like,
Pluzak.
When
Just
people
no one's
ask.
asking.
Yeah.
That's
like
not true.
how can it be not like I don't know. That almost doesn't make sense of it being like a general secret and not a specific secret when
That's what I was thinking.
every other statement.
But it doesn't
Is most likely
specify,
pointing
and
to
I'm
something
playing on that
specific.
vagary.
But you might find it. That's the thing. Like if they're answering each other, the towers, then you might find something that is specifically a secret. I mean, like not the tower, the statue. Like if she's been transmutated, she might have the secret. It could be the secret of what she is, or she might have something to tell. I mean, if we think about the crown, it could be, did her memories hold a secret? Like the secret one is difficult because it can be really generalized.
But that could also be to our advantage if it is really generalized. It could be as secretive as like, you've been holding out on us? Yes.
Where are the drugs?
We could put the crown on the adult Fearum.
On the what?
The Faerun, the fucking
Faerun.
thing in
The-
the museum.
Yeah, the tail that impregnates people, right? Or we get the Tarrasque.
Ugh.
Get
We
the
summon it and
Tarrasque,
put the
oh
crown
no.
on the Tarrasque.
I love how as soon
No.
as you guys found out that was a possibility, this whole thing has just turned into a quest for the Tarrasque now. I'm here for it, by the way.
Look, I haven't been pushy about a lot of magical items in this game. The Tarrasque scroll is mine.
Just because you're gonna make sure
He
it
wants
doesn't
to
get
drop
summoned.
that shit on Aurel's Island.
Oh, and just
His
leave it there.
laid claim.
Mm-hmm.
Like I haven't pushed for any of the magical items. That's the only one I'm pushing for. If we find the scroll of Tarrasque, Kara is taking custody of it, flying back to Aurel's Island, and letting it loose.
That could be the secret.
And then Kara
that's
realizes,
the thing.
uh-oh, I've doomed the world. The
secret to
Tarrasque is
Aurel's
now going to destroy
destruction.
everything.
But that's the thing. Kara hasn't been secretive about it. She said that to the group.
Yeah, she has multiple times said that that is something
very
she would like. Yeah.
Well, but the Tarrasque could be the secret of ruining Auril. Like,
Yeah.
maybe.
Interesting way to look at the word secret there, yeah.
But it says to coax a secret, which means we have to pry it from someone.
One of the Grand Masters would make the most sense, and the one that was, well, you have two now that
Which
technically couldn't say anything.
could be the
Actually,
crown,
all of them couldn't.
right?
Look-
It could be the crown because we could put the crown on somebody.
I have never
Get
said
their
that
memories.
it wasn't a valid answer. I just
That's
said the easiest one at our disposal is, "Hey, Pluzak, what's your thing?"
Yeah, much like you were saying with the crown, like you basically could just test that pretty straightforward of just like, share me a secret. Did it work? Yes, no? Continue on.
Just we start with the simple. If the simple doesn't work, then we have to make it more complex as we go down. We have some at our disposal that we could use. Hell, we could fucking question Chance the Hammer to get secrets out of. Like, it doesn't matter who it is.
Potentially.
There's also the idea of, like, did you need to coax a secret from one of the Grand Masters before they turn to dust?
Nah, that seems too specific because we have no way of knowing that they'd turn to dust in the first place.
I mean, you
But
do
after,
after
well,
the
after
first
the
one.
first one does, then you do. You
Same
can't
thought.
assume that the next one is also going to turn to dust, but
But we could have
Yes, I can
bypassed
because
all
that's
that
because
very
that
easily.
wouldn't have worked. Like, if it's gonna go in our favor, it's gonna fuck us.
yeah.
It never
Like, it
actually
could
goes
be-
in your favor, even when it goes in your favor.
Like, it could suck. Like,
Look, I operate on my spectrum of luck. Like, my player luck will carry over to in-game luck, one way or another. For living experience, just look at me playing Cameron.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh.
Well, I mean, Cameron still had some pretty crazy moments, though. But yeah,
Yeah, because that's what my fuck it. What's the worst that can happen
you blow
at that
You
yourself
die
up.
with
particular
your
moment?
fox.
Yeah, you blow yourself up. Yeah, we all know what the worst that can happen there is. I'm glad you were there for that session too.
So
Oh,
sad.
man. That was funny.
Oh,
All right.
I have no regrets. I went out swinging.
Yeah, definitely true.
I would
Alright.
hope you don't have any regrets. It's so sad.
I'm going to end the recording here, though, and hopefully we'll figure out what you guys want to do next time. Got a lot to think about these next 2 weeks, though.